mercenary. Yeah. You can't ride with her unless you're revolutionary. Yeah. And to get it, she gon' do whatever's necessary. Yeah. Make a victim, break the system. Some results may vary. Situation scary, but she's never worried. Picture that. Even when it's bad, she still get it back. Fighting through the dark to find a light so she can get it back. Struggling with it. Do what's right or live a life of sin. Try again. Is she bound to meet a violent end?
Don't think twice, better be brave. Like a soldier, do what I told you. Live my life a renegade. I gotta warn ya, I gotta warn ya. The only thing that you gotta know is that I do what it takes, do what it takes. Gotta bring him down to take control. I'm gonna do what it takes, do what it takes. I'll make you believe that the choice is yours. That I'll change it to tell the road to us. The only thing that you gotta know is that I do what it takes, I do what it takes. I'm a renegade, I'm a renegade. I'm a renegade, I'm a renegade. I'm a bad girl, I'ma pull your strings. Yeah, you're gonna make your moves, but I control your whole team. Yeah, nobody here is going toe to toe with me. Yeah, everything you thought you knew is what I made you think. I know how to get what I want, do what it takes to step to the top. Innovate, manipulate, to run the game straight, no stalemate. You're dead weight, watch me ignite, grenade gone wild. I'ma blow up, you can count my style. Born to lead, you can't stop my mercs. When you hear my sound, better hit the dirt. Don't think twice, better be brave. Like a soldier, do what I told you. Live my life a renegade. I gotta warn ya, I gotta warn ya. The only thing that you gotta know is that I do what it takes, do what it takes. Gotta bring him down to take control. I'm gonna do what it takes, do what it takes. I'll make you believe that the choice is yours. That I'll change it to tell the road to us. The only thing that you gotta know is that I do what it takes, I do what it takes.
Y'all don't really know who you playing with. Let me talk to him. Playing both sides like she playing 1 and 2, but she playing you. Playing her, that's a fatal move. You must play to lose. Serve herself is what she came to do. Till she say it do. Test her, then you best prepared to beat the one you praying to. So stay on the good side. You wanna live in this world that she planning to change, even with the good guys. She still a baddest, no matter the side that she claimed. Gotta be ice in the veins. She gonna get it no matter the price of the pain. That's just a part of the game. Playing for keeps. Are you not entertained?
The only thing that you gotta know is that I do what it takes, do what it takes. Gotta bring him down to take control. I'm gonna do what it takes, do what it takes. I'll make you believe that the choice is yours. That I'll change it to tell the road to us. The only thing that you gotta know is that I do what it takes, do what it takes. The only thing that you gotta know is that I do what it
Muted. I am muted. I muted myself on both the mic itself and in OBS. Look at that. Professional streamer alert. Insane. Hope y'all are having a good day. So, more operator reviews. I had an idea. Oh yeah, new... Okay, I was looking at this before the stream started. Like, Contrail's hair has color. I thought it was just, like, gray. Like, I thought she just had gray hair. But no, it's, like, brown. It's, like, hazel. And it's like, oh, I can kind of see it. Like... This is a Contrail skin. Her hair is actually, like, hazel colored. And I guess the lighting in the original skin just isn't that? I don't feel like... I saw this in the preview, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like, that is not a character I'm familiar with. That's... It's Contrail. I don't know if they just changed her hair color, or she normally has hazel hair, and it's just desaturated normally? That's wild. Yeah, there's some new CN skins. There's Shiguma the Breacher. Oh, it's dynamic art, of course. What am I looking at? I'm not sure what changed. What changed? She just has less clothes on? Ah, yes. Cool, she has less clothes on. What a skin. What an absolute skin. Just less clothes. I think I've already seen the Kirara skin on stream, and it just kind of confused me. Because I don't know who the fuck would want this over the Goated Gamer skin. It's like she's a schoolgirl. She's like anime. She's like heckin' anime. It's like, what? Well, they do call them outfits. We're the weirdos who are calling them skins. They are literally called outfits in-game. No fan service in Arknights. I mean, there isn't. It's just, I think that's a very sloppily designed skin. But what the fuck is this? Who would want this? She got a haircut. And she's like a cute, like, moe schoolgirl. She's like so heckin' kawaii. It's like, I don't know, man. You physically cannot top the gamer Kirara skin. You physically cannot. What is this? They got an Aya alter skin that just has her parents. Which, I don't know. I'm sure to the people who know about her character, this might have some sentiment to it. I don't know. I don't really know. So, I'm sure to the people who know what's going on, they care. But for me, I'm just like, alright, cool. Tippy skin. I like the birds, little macaws. Would I use this over her normal skin? No. Her normal skin has so much more character to it. Like, I mean, you can just kind of see it by looking at the little chibi down here. Like, there's so much more character in her original outfit than this. But bird. There is bird. They've increased the amount of bird by 50%. There is 50% more bird oh no, there's 2 more birds down here. I didn't see that. They've increased the amount of bird by over 100%. I don't know. I think the original just has more character to it. I don't really think I'd stick with this. Accord's in a swimsuit. End of story. Overall, not too interested in any of these. The Contrail skin's kind of cool. But that's just because they just changed her color. Like, they just hue shifted Contrail. And now she's a completely different person. That, like, now it's in the event till the lands become an orange. So she is the land, so she became an orange. So that's the lore. That makes sense. Also, there are significantly more birds in the contrail skin than in the tippy skin. So, which is funny because she's not a bird. She's a flying squirrel. Wait, the flying squirrel is a bird. What? Wait. The flying squirrel is a fucking bird. How is there more bird representation in the contrail skin than in the tippy skin? What the hell? The fucking squirrel's a bird. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, this contrail skin's actually pretty goated. The other skins seem kind of meh, but whatever. It's like, I don't know. This isn't a skin. This is weird. I don't get it. Kind of cool. Oh, happy birthday, Falanik. Oh, yeah, that's kind of really funny. See the AS skin effects? They're super cute. Can I do that on the wiki? I'm not gonna go and look up a YouTube video just to see some effects. But sure, they probably are cute. She probably summons her parents. Kirara not gaming feels cursed. I agree. It's very weird that it's just like, yeah, what if Kirara was like a kawaii schoolgirl? And I'm like, alright, that was kind of weird. You can't do this to my gamer. My hard G gamer. Alright. If their skin effects are cool, to be honest, it makes up for the original. I agree. To me, most of the time when I buy a skin, I don't really do it for the skin. I do it for like the effects that it gives. But it's interesting. Kirara, if she went outside. True. True. Alright, so you know what? Why don't we, to start off the stream, why don't we rate these operators? I didn't rate Hoshigume yet. Oh, so we get to do a funny rate. Well, we get to do, okay. So I think to start the stream, we'll do these outfit operators. How does that sound? Maybe Kirara is not a real gamer. She goes outside insane. Kirara. Eafiala, the Hivit Asuka. Joined late. What? You did not join late. The stream just started. We just started. We looked at the new skins, and they're not that interesting, but that's fine. That's fine. Got a cord. And contrail. So we're gonna be looking at some 4 stars. So okay, me rating 4 stars is gonna be on an entirely different criteria than how I rate operators normally. So that's gonna be a whole different thing. By the way, how'd you rate Ascalon? I just said when I'm gonna rate. Do you want me to rate Ascalon after this? Sure. Sure. Sure, we can do Ascalon after. Alright. Alright, so Hoshiguma the Breacher. I'm sure... How is Mizuki +4? His armpits are... What the fuck sentence is that? If you say that again, I will genuinely just ban you. That is fucking gross. Do not say that again. Why the fuck would you say that? Her mama said that. I don't care. Why'd you have to repeat it? That's fucking weird. That's fucking weird. Why would you say that? Okay, so Hoshiguma the Breacher. I'm surprised I haven't. I'm pretty sure I've rated her on stream. I just haven't done it here. She has an absolute banger of a fucking EP, and I kind of want to play it right now. I don't think I can look up. I don't think I can look it up on this website. Her EP is a fucking banger, but whatever. Okay. So if you don't know, and I'm sure most of you have already, most of you haven't even realized it, she's an arts protector, which is very bizarre because I assumed that we haven't had an arts protector, and I'm still not convinced that we do have a 6-star arts protector. But yeah, Thoughts on Kirara and Amiri module? I feel like Kirara should have the Gamma. The thing is with that is that I literally said that in my Kirara video, and it turns out Kirara came out before the module did. So she just got that module because it's a release module, and Hypergriff sucks because release modules are stupid. Alright. When HP drops to 0, enter Atmagraha. Cannot be healed by allies. Damage received will continue to accumulate, and once accumulated, damage reaches over 200% of max HP, she will be defeated. After 4 seconds without receiving damage, she recovers 5% of her HP per second, and once HP is greater than 0, she leaves Amagraha. So how this works is that if Hoshiguma dies, she doesn't actually die. She will continue to take damage, and in this state, she can't be healed by allies, and she has 200% of her normal HP. So basically what this says is Hoshiguma has 3 times as much HP as she actually does. And I don't know if you guys know this, but that's stupid. Like, I don't think that's a controversial take that the operator just has 3 times as much HP than she should. And I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think that's kind of really stupid. Now, yeah, she can't be healed during this status, but it's still just upside and nothing else. Except she also heals herself, and 5% max HP per second is a fuck ton. And also, she can still be healed by things that heal enmity operators. So you can use Tin Man's S2, you can use Perfumer. There are still a lot of things that can heal Hoshiguma, including herself with her skills that we'll get into, during this thing. This is what defines Hoshiguma. This is what, like, makes her stick out. This is her defining mechanic. And it's not really a mechanic, it's I get to just have 3 times as much HP as everyone else. That's it. There's nothing to this. There's no additional gameplay that it allows for. It's just, I get 3 times as much HP than everyone else. Which is really stupid, because the whole thing with Arts Protectors is that they're meant to be the least defensive defenders. Because they're meant to be the most offensive defenders. That's the trade-off. And so and so basically, rather than actually retaining that trade-off of you get to have the most damage but have the least defense, you get to have the most HP and the most damage. So that's what this is, and I don't understand why. It's just bullshit, and this is slop. And I think I'm going to give this a big fat -2 right off the bat. I don't give out -2s very easily, but this is bullshit. It is really bullshit. I really don't know how you can defend this, other than just, it's good because it's strong. It's bullshit. It's dumb. It does nothing that's interesting. Big fat -2 right off the bat. Alright, then we have gains up to 50% res and 35% attack tenacity. Reaches the maximum bonus when losing 70% of her max HP. You want to know what's really funny about this talent? You know what's just kind of funny about this talent is that 70% of her at max HP is actually more like 30%. Because again, she has 3 times as much HP as she normally should. So she's going to be at max tenacity most of the time. And if anything, this encourages you to not heal her so that she can enter this state, so that she can effectively just turn into a juggernaut. And that's kind of the thing with Hoshiguma, is that she's not a 6-star Arts Protector, she is a 6-star Juggernaut. Now, I'm just going to give this a 0, because there isn't technically anything wrong with it, I just think it interacts very poorly with her first talent. But conceptually, it's kind of interesting, because, you know, she has this whole samurai aesthetic going on in what are, you know, samurai represented in Arknights. They're represented with Mushas, and Mushas very classically have tenacity built-in talents, so this is kind of tying that in thematically, so there is some flavor to it. I do like it. But this is basically just a passive, and it's not something that I'm really going to say is really interesting. It's just, she just gets extra stats for just existing. And it's not something I'm going to be willing to compliment. I'll just give this a 0. Okay, her S1. So attack plus 70% and defense plus 70%. Deals 175% attack as arts damage. 2 targets that attack Hoshiguma the Breacher. So this is supposed to be a reference to her original S2? Isn't it her original's S2 is the Thorns ability? So it's meant to reference that skill. I think it's S2. I don't know if I'm wrong though. However, what astonishes me about this skill is that there's only 15 charge. This is a defensively charged skill. 15 charge is nothing. I actually got a temp recruit Hoshiguma the Breacher, I think yesterday, or like the day before that, and I was actually using her. It takes no effort to actually activate this skill. This skill basically is a passive. This is an unlimited duration skill that takes 15 attacks to charge, and what you get is 70% more attack and defense, and then she gains more than her attack as a Thorns attack. Keep in mind, Churney. I've been loving Churney. I absolutely love Churney. I've been using him a lot lately. It amazes me that Churney's module lets his talent go above 100% of his attack. With his module, now he reflects 115% of his attack as arts damage when he takes arts damage. That's passive. With Hoshiguma, that's 175% attack, but it's to all attacks. And she also gains 70% more attack. And this is basically a passive. So I know I'm comparing a 6-star to a 5-star, but the fact that Churney is one of my favorite defenders and is incredibly strong at what he does, and then you take that and you just add more bullshit to it, you get this. This skill is absolute dogshit design. I understand the flavor that it's going for, and I'm not even against the flavor that it's going for. I think that not conceptually, this skill is conceptually fucking bankrupt, but the flavor I'm fine with. You can give her a reflection-based skill, but this isn't the way to do it, because it's basically just a passive that just gives her an absurd amount of stats and a really, really strong reflection. It's absurd how effortless this is to activate. -1. Okay. All right. I'm not going to pronounce that. I don't know what the fuck this is. All right. Her S2. Weirdly enough, when I did use Hoshiguma the Breacher in that temp recruit, I did try out her S2, and it is worse than I thought it was. Genuinely. So, Hoshiguma the Breacher launches her shield, hitting all block targets 3 times per attack. Each hit dealing 90% of her attack. The shield flies 1 loop around her. Shield slows enemies on contact, dealing 130% of attack arts damage every half second. Hoshiguma the Breacher recovers 15% of the damage dealt. So, this is a 6 offensive charge skill. So every time she attacks 6 times, she throws out this shield. The shield goes around her 1 time, doing a bunch of damage while it hits, also healing her. Now, something that I didn't know is that the shield slows down when in contact with an enemy. So the shield is programmed to slow down once it's actually in contact with an enemy, so it does as much damage as possible. And this also heals Hoshiguma, meaning that when you're in the, you can't heal me state, you get to heal her. So what this effectively ends up being is a really cringe AFK self-sustain skill. It's incredibly fucking lame. There's not really much I can really say about it, because the actual gameplay of it is you put down Hoshiguma, and then she just attacks this big circle thing, and she heals a bunch of damage. And it's just not interesting. Because it is just AFK slop in all of the sense, where you just, I get to do this AoE attack, I also heal myself. It's just this really boring self-sustain skill that I just really can't get behind. Do I think it's, a poorly designed skill? No. I think this is a 0. But I do think it does just suck. It's not a fun skill. It's not interesting. There's no real gameplay you can really do with it. It's nothing. Just 0. But she heals. That's a downside for second talent. True. People forgetting the best offensive defender skill belongs to Lutenata with Power Strike. True. If you are doing the Archie squad, you always pick Lutenata. The starting squad for Archetto is Archetto, Lutenata, and Steward. That's how you game. That is how you play the game. There are some placements where you can snag an enemy that would be hard for melees to reach with her shield. So that's even more like effortless upside. Like that's what you're telling me is I get to worry less about actual interesting interactions, and I get to just plop her down, let her do all her work, and I don't need to worry about the one downside that her effectively having triple HP does provide. Like, again, this isn't a mechanic. This is just a thing that she has, and her S2 just gives her the ability to sustain herself while in that state. So there's no real punishment to doing it. It's just, this is a very boring, generic AFK slop skill. Hello, what are we talking about? And is that Traxcom slander I see? No, it's not. This is just, this is information. What does he even do? He is a medic that flies. It's very self-explanatory. It is very obvious. There is no Taraxacum slander allowed, because he is the greatest medic to have ever been released in Arknights, and I love him. He is a medic, and he flies. That is the only thing you need to know. Yes, I am aware that we're getting Calcit Alter, but she is not a medic that flies. She is not. I don't know what the fuck she does. She is a medic, and she might fly, but that's not what matters. Taraxacum is a medic, and he flies. That's what matters. They do fly now. They fly now. Okay, now, Hoshiguma's S3. Here is the definition of S3 slop. Holy fuck. Attack range expands. Max HP plus 100%. Attack plus 230%. You want, okay. You want to, okay. So, alright, here, let me show you something. Let me show you who Hoshiguma wishes she was. Cherney's S3. Cherney's S2 is the coolest fucking skill in the game. And if you'll see right here, attack plus 30% stacks up to 10 times. Now, I love using Cherney's S2 alongside Ak, because Ak actually makes it so, yeah, so whenever he takes an attack, he gets 30% more attack up to 10 times. So, if he's being hit by enemies, he starts gaining more attack. I like to use this with Ak. I will use Ak's S3, and this will trigger every single one of these attack stacks, putting them up to like the max attack stack right away. I love doing that. It's really, really fun. And so for Cherney's S2, in order for me to get 300% of an attack bonus, or 240% attack bonus at level 7, I need to go out of my way to use a different operator to buff him for him to do that. Or I need to let enemies attack him 10 times. Which, by the way, is 2/3 of what it takes to activate Hoshiguma's S1. And so for Hoshiguma, you just get that. You just get that right away. You click the button and you get that. But you're like, oh, it's just 230%, not 300. Except she hits twice per attack. So it's actually 460%. So all of the cool gameplay, the really cool and fun gameplay that you get with Cherney's S2 that is just amazing and awesome. Yeah, what if you just got all of that right away without having to jump through any hoops, and you get that with Hoshiguma the Breacher? That's called fun, I guess. This is what fun gameplay is. What is this? And so hitting up to, so yes, attack range expands, max HP plus 100%, attack plus 230%, hits up to 3 enemies twice per attack. Like, this is... What is this? How do you defend this? Just like, yes, this is a fun skill because I get to kill everything. Yes, that's gameplay. Now we can go look at the actual, more interesting part of the skill. If you manually deactivate the skill, she becomes invincible, and now she attacks 4 times, because fuck me. And if any operator takes fatal damage, it's redirected to Hoshiguma. So that's cool. That's kind of cool. You click the button, and now all of your operators are invincible. Does it matter? Because she's going to kill the enemy anyways? Most likely. It's very rare this will actually do anything. And also, by the way, look at this attack range. Fucking look at this. Oh, you can't see it. Look at this. Look at this bullshit. I've used her in IS6 just messing around because I wanted to try her out. She's killing enemies that aren't even in her lane. This is a defender? And there's an enemy on the other side of the fucking battlefield being murdered by her. What the fuck is this shit? And so if she does, and if you do manually deactivate the skill, she gets automatically retreated. And so there is the little season, the seeds of there being a cool idea. There is, and yes, can hit aerial targets because fuck me. Now, okay, I have to say though, Shalem's S2 also hits aerial targets, and so does Asbestos. So we're not allowed to use that criticism this time. We're not allowed to say that. Yes, she can hit aerial targets, but so can Shalem, so you know it's fair. Now, he may lose a significant portion of his HP per second, which is like a significant downside. And this skill has no downside unless you manually deactivate it. You know, and Asbestos, I think, hits air, but it does just hit air, because of course it does. For the same reason Wishadil's S3 hits air, it's because the players using her can't be fucking bothered. So, the thing is that, yes, there is a cool concept present with her S3, and that if you manually deactivate it, she will die at the end of the... She powers up, all of your operators become invincible, and then she will die at the end of the time. There is the potential that this can do something cool. But again, it runs into the problem of, does it actually matter 99% of the time? Are you actually going to be in the situation where this does anything? No, you're not. You're going to be clicking the button, she's going to be killing things. In, like, high Ascension IS, sure. But also, probably not. I'm not gonna lie, because I've been playing, like, Ascension 17 IS6 with my random bullshit squads. Like, literal, and honestly, I don't even think that I ran into a situation where Hoshiguma the Breacher actually needed to do this. It's so nothing. It's so nothing. And so, I'm just gonna give this a -1, because it is the definition of fucking S3 slop. This is a really just boring skill. And it really sucks, because Hoshiguma just doesn't have an identity as an operator, outside of just being slop. And what's very bizarre is that, much like Exucii, her gameplay is completely detached from her subclass. She's not an arts protector. She is a juggernaut. Most of the time, she's going to be a juggernaut. Like, hey, look at that self-sustain skill akin to a juggernaut. Look at this self-sustain akin to a juggernaut, and she can't be healed. She's a juggernaut. Like, it's amazing that this is our first 6-star primal protector, and she's a fucking juggernaut. Why? The real reason you cancel S3 is for to force her to take more damage for talent 2 and just to do more damage. That's probably what most people are activating it for, so she can do more damage. Yeah, this Hoshiguma. Okay, so what I gave this a -2. This is 0. This a -1. Is she -4? Okay, alright. So Hoshiguma the Breacher is our lowest rated operator so far. At a -4, chat. Give it up for -4. Wait, what? Why did Thorns get removed? That was weird. So she's put it up for -4. -4, chat. -4. Why is Entelekia -1? Because she's not a Reaper. Is this golf scoring? Sure. If you want to think that it is, and that makes you happy, sure. If you would like to believe this is golf scoring, go ahead. All right, who's up next? Kirara. Let's fucking go. Everyone's favorite gamer. Okay. So Kirara is... Would I call her the coolest ambusher? Yes, I think she is the coolest ambusher. I really like Kirara because she is the only ambusher that leans into the weird survivability of ambushers, and I think it's so creative. Because the ambusher trait is that they have a 50% chance to dodge. And so Kirara tries to lean into that by being more survival-oriented. And so her talent gives her some passive HP regeneration, and if she's all on her own, which she most likely will be because she's an ambusher, this gets boosted to 4%. It gets doubled. And this just opens up so many fucking... okay, chat. I can't just... Okay, chat, I'm sorry, but I can't... Go watch my other streams if you want to know why the operators are put there. Actually, you know what? I need to make like YouTube shorts where I actually like rate the 6-star operators and put that on YouTube shorts. Cause that would rage bait the fuck out of people who don't have any actual arguments. But it would so people can actually go and look at the 6 stars without having to sit through like my entire fucking stream. It's like I can't go through. No, it's fine, Space Queen. It's just like I can't. I would love to explain why. I just can't go through every single operator always, all the time, every single time. So it's just like, it is how it is. I'm sure some people in chat could probably explain my points, but I'm not sure. Who knows? But yeah, so Kirara tries to lean... This talent alone defines Kirara so much. It gives her so many cool use cases that Kirara is... effectively immortal in certain environments, and she can bait so many different kinds of attacks. She's really good at just kind of existing and soaking up damage. And I think it opens up so many cool use cases for her. Just this talent alone, that it's so much fun. I don't really know what else to really say it. It's like, Kirara, I remember like people saying, I'm just kind of trying to understand your criteria. No, that's fine. I'm sure if you just watch the stream, it'll make more sense. But it's just like, you kind of have to go through you probably are going to have to go watch my other streams if you want to know my exact reasoning. But, what the fuck was I saying? I got sidetracked. God damn it. What the fuck was I saying? I lost my train of thought. I'm fucking stupid. Kirara is a fish, and you put her down and she kills things. She doesn't kill things. Oh, no. Oh, gross. I'm sorry, that's gross. Kirara is really... I remember when, like, Kirara used to be, like, one of the worst 5 stars in the game. Like, that was something that so many people genuinely believed, that, like, Kirara was one of the worst 5 stars in the game. And the moment you actually use her, not as, like, a damage source, but just as a bait operator... There are so many different avenues that you can utilize her with that it is really, really like wrong to call her that. Like there are so many situations where she does really, really well. And so just this talent alone defines her in such a unique form of gameplay that I really, really like her. Give this a big +1. Her first talent. I'm going to give this a big fat 0 because... Does this really help define her usage? Not really. Do I ever use this skill? No, because it doesn't really lead into why I use her. If I want to be using a more offensive ambusher, I'm probably going to be using Manticore or Ethan. I'm not going to be using Kirara's S1. Are there cases where I will use Kirara's S1? Only in IS. Now, this skill doesn't do not like insignificant damage because it does effectively double this, and it can overcome damage quite well since it's capable of doing both physical and arts damage. But is it that amazing of a skill? Not really. I don't typically do it. It's just the next attack does extra arts damage, and especially given how much arts damage her S2 does, there's not really much reason to use her S1. It's okay, but outside of like specific IS situations where you have specific collectibles, I don't typically use this like at all. But it's her S2 that really does define a lot of her usage, because it increases the effect of her talent by 3 times. So now I think I remember doing the math in my Kirara video, she heals about maybe like 160%, around something like that. It's significantly over her entire HP bar, just in the duration of this skill. Like, it is basically a full heal. And just that alone gives you a lot of control over her survivability. So when she is getting low, you can pop this skill. She gets right back up to healthy, and it's really, really comfortable. And then the extra arts damage that she does is actually quite significant. It's around like 8,000 AoE damage. It's around 8,000 like true AoE arts damage. So it's not that bad for the cycle time. And it can come up in certain situations. So I do really, really like her S2. It works really well with what she's trying to do, and it also gives her some extra damage utility, although it doesn't come up that much. So I'm gonna give this a big +1. So Kirara gets a +2. And she has 30 res. Yeah, no, her, like, ambushers have very defensive stats. 300 defense ain't, like, incredible, but yeah, 30 res. Kirara is such a unique tank that it's really hard not to absolutely love what she is trying to do. She's probably the most unique tank in the game. But she is really, really fun, and when you really know how to use her, there are so many situations where you can use her. So I think she's really cool. She's niche, but she's really, really fun. Thoughts on Kirara S2 having aggression increase? I would prefer that, yes. Like, like I wish Kirara had extra aggro, but sadly that's never gonna fucking happen. Like, as sad as that is. Mizuki's greater than Kirara. That is true. Now I will say though, the tier list is less to do with, this is my form of objectively rating the operators based on their design. There will of course be skews, as it's a lot easier for 6 stars to reach higher, since 6 stars have more stuff in their kit, they have a much higher likelihood of having a higher or lower score because of it. But, so there is kind of a bit of a bias with Mizuki being higher than Kirara. Personally, I prefer Kirara to Mizuki. Like, this is more to do with how I think they perform objectively, like in operator design, with obviously a little flavoring of my own, like, opinion in there. But if you were to ask me, I would prefer Kirara over, like, Mizuki. But again, it's also like Kirara is a lot more niche than Mizuki, where Mizuki's niche is that you can use Mizuki's niche like a lot. You can just use that. But Kirara is a lot more niche, but in the cases where you can use her, she's really, really cool. Okay, AF Yala the Hivet Asuka. Okay, so she is an elemental medic, and that's all she fucking does. Normal heals additionally. Okay, I don't think anyone likes Aya because she's a well-designed operator. I think people like Aya either for her character or because they're lazy. There is, like, nothing. Review Ascalon. She's in the queue. She's in the queue. Because I have a feeling Aya is going to be a flat 0. Because there is, like, really isn't anything to her. Her S1. Normal heals additionally restores HP and elemental injury per second. Heal 10% of the original amount, lasts for 6 seconds. This is just a talent that... So, you know, like, Honeyberry's S1? It's that, but it's a talent. And it also heals. It's like, it's that. And it's like, I don't know... Like, what is that? It makes her better at being a medic. Yeah. Doesn't really reward you for anything. Doesn't really, like, do anything. It just makes her better at healing. Like, this basically just, like... The fact that it's spread out over 6 seconds lets it combat, like, DOT effects. Which actually lessens the utility of, like, AoE medics. Like, the fact... Why does it restore HP? She's an elemental medic. Like, this essentially just creeps on the utility that, like, AoE medics possess. So it's like, weirdly enough, I don't like this. I don't like this because I think that it extends outside of what her niche is supposed to be. Like, I don't think an elemental medic should have, like, DOT normal healing. So it's like, not everything is elemental damage. Yeah, but she's an elemental medic. That's the problem with AF Yala, is that she is just a good medic. But you shouldn't do that. That's not how that's supposed to be. elemental medics are supposed to be worse than normal medics, but because they have the specialty of covering elemental injury. And so giving a Afyala extra utility as just a normal medic just creeps on that process. This is just power creep and nothing else. Why are they called wandering medics? Because you wander through the elements. Because you go out there and you explore the elements. Because when you go outside, you are wandering into the elements. They're wandering medics. I have no idea if that's true. She's worse than the best medic Harga. Well, yeah, it's like the actual meta medics aren't even fucking medics. What is this bullshit? Like, I don't even know if I can feel comfortable giving this a 0. Like, I kind of just don't like this. But it's not enough to give it a negative. Like, like, this isn't enough to give me a -1. But it is conceptually just power creep and nothing else. So it's like, this is a very poorly... I don't know what to put for it. It's not, like, poorly designed. No, it's not bad design, but it is poorly designed. Because this does nothing but power creep. Because that's the thing with power creep. A lot of people think it's purely just pumping up numbers. That's not always the case. A lot of the times you have to figure out why power creep happens in the first place. And often it is because certain operators or certain units or whatever will creep into the utility that other operators possess, removing that utility from them. When you have these kinds of like, here's a wandering medic that can also heal, now you run into the problem of now normal medics lose their utility. And so this isn't really something that I want to promote. This isn't something that's positive. Like, I don't know if I can say -1, because it's like, it's not that bad. It's not like actively negative. But I also don't do halves. I don't do decimals. So I don't know what to do. So we could do -1 for now. We'll do -0.5 for now. If not, I'll have to round up. Okay, increases the max HP of friendly units in range by 0.8%. And reduces the elemental injury they take. Okay, so, you know Honeyberry? What if... You know Honeyberry? What if Honeyberry was a 6-star? And that's it! What if Honeyberry was a 6-star? Oh, what is this tier list about? This is not... It's not really a tier list. It's more just a visualization of... It's a visualization of how I think operators are designed. With the higher number, with positive numbers being positive, negative numbers being negative. It's its whole thing. I'm sure if you watch, you'll kind of figure it out. Yeah, it's just like, I really can't, like, this is just, what if Honeyberry but better? And it's just like, that's so cringe. It's so cringe. It's also all friendly units. It's not even ranged units like Honeyberry. It's just like, why? Is this why people call her Ayaberry? But people don't even use Honeyberry. They use the other berry. What's her name? Blueberry. What the fuck's her name? What's the other wandering medic that is also berry? I don't even know, man. Mulberry. Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know. Do people call her Ayaberry because she is a wandering medic and like we have Mulberry and Honeyberry? Or is it because she's just Honeyberry and that's it? It's just like, it's like, yeah. See, I'm gonna give this a 0. I don't like it, but I don't think it's worth taking off points. But no, you know what? I'm gonna give both of these -1/2. So -1 for both of these, because I really don't appreciate what they're just doing. Where's my Herald Berry? Alright, S1. So, chat, put your hands together. Put your hands together for everyone's favorite AFK slop. Let's go, chat. Let's go. Every 6-star has to have an unlimited duration skill. That's not a niche or cool thing anymore. It's just something everyone has because, God forbid, you have to click a button. Attack plus 40%. Each heal can heal an additional target, and all friendly units in range will recover elemental injury equal to 8% of her attack per second. The max duration, just 60-second charge, which I will say, at least the charge isn't insignificant. Are we really, like, reaching here? At least the charge isn't insignificant. It's not like... It's not like Hoshiguma, where her unlimited duration skill is literally like non-existent charge. This is, you do at least have to charge it up. And so it's like, alright, you know, this is fine. This is okay. It's like, I was gonna say like, yeah, you know, I think this might be a little too strong, that she doesn't even need to heal them, it's just everyone in range gets it. So it's like, but you know what? That's fine. You do have to wait for it. You do have to charge it up. There is a significant portion of downtime for this skill. This is okay. I'm going to give it a 0 because it doesn't really inspire anything. Again, Aya doesn't have an identity as an operator. She just is the best. I'll give this a 0. It's AFK Slop, but it doesn't really do anything interesting. And you know what? That's fine. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. Alright, S2. It's a crit skill. It's a crit skill. Immediately heals all allied units in range and creates protective barrier for them for 20 seconds. Protect barrier absorbs elemental injury for 20... Okay. Okay, so this barrier has a 100% uptime, and it's all units. It's all units. Every unit in her range gains a 100% uptime barrier. It takes 900% of... Okay, what is 900 of her attack? Okay, I'm gonna pull out my trusty handy-dandy phone. No one uses this skill, by the way. Is that supposed to make me like it? I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna look up her stats. Okay, so at E260... come on. At E260, she has 440 attack. Her module... her module gives her how much? How much does her mod give her? She has 2 modules. God damn it. Okay, the highest one I think gives her 60. Okay, so she has 500 attack. So this is a 3,000 elemental injury barrier? No, 900. 900 times... 9 times 500 is 4,500. An elemental injury procs at 1,000. So... Okay, so this skill has a 100% uptime and makes it so in order for any operator in her range to proc the elemental injury required, the enemy needs to go through 5,500 elemental injury. That is so unbelievably strong. This is a 100% uptime skill, and it requires the... So it's normally 1,000 elemental injury per burst. She ups that to 5,500. 100% of the time. So if you're using... So basically she makes it so elemental damage no longer exists to any enemy in her... To any operator in her range. The barrier is shared for all units? No. Oh wait, it is. Protective barriers build up absorption shared across all affected units. Oh no, that is true. So that means that it should share. That's a weird fucking skill then. So, okay, so that means that in order for any individual operator... Does that matter though? Okay, does that actually like make a difference though? So, okay. There is one enemy I can think of that does AoE necrosis. Are there any enemies that do AoE burn? Oh, there is those casters from Docilis Holiday that I think do AoE corrosion. Does this actually make a difference though? It's like... this only makes a difference when it's against like AoE damage. AoE elemental damage shreds the barrier. Like, I'm not even sure if I believe that. Because in order for that to happen, you need to put, like, a bunch of operators in the splash range to begin with. And if you're doing that, you're kind of a fucking idiot. So, like, you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. No one uses this skill. Like, people keep telling me that, like I give a shit. Like, the people who use AF Yala are not using her because they want to have a fun time. They're using her because it's really easy, or because it's really easy. Like, yes, no one's using her S2 because it's the most micro-heavy skill. That's what it is. And also, it does the least amount of healing. Because again, keep in mind, she's a wandering medic, and this is the only skill that actually pertains to that identity entirely. I think this is insanely fucking busted. Like, yes, okay, I can understand in some cases where the AoE, that's the thing though, if you're up against an AoE enemy and you're putting all your operators right next to each other, you're kind of a fucking idiot. So, like, I'm sorry, you're stupid. Like, if that shows up anyways, you're fucking up like, you are already being stupid. Like, this is so unbelievably strong if you can use this. No one uses this skill. This is genuinely incredibly strong. The thing is that conceptually, I have nothing wrong with this. I think this is a cool effect. It's like, rather than... I think this is a cool effect. The problem is, all it really does is effectively make it so it's harder for your allies to proc burst. I think that's cool. I think that's a cool concept. I think it's pushed way too fucking much. Especially given this is 100% uptime at M3. That is insane. But, like, it's rare for a stage to be constantly assaulting you with elemental damage. Okay. She's a wandering medic. That's the point of her, is to heal elemental damage. If the only way you can judge a medic... If the only way you can judge a wandering medic is by their ability to be a medic, then I don't think you understand the point of the subclass. And I think you might be a little too meta-brained to understand that. This skill is conceptually, I'm fine with it. But this does completely delete elemental damage from the stage. This is absurd. This is, like, it is a 100% uptime barrier. That is so strong. That's so strong. Because the thing is that if you are... Okay, so let's say you're playing... I've been doing 10H... or H10-1. Still haven't beaten that stage because I'm a fucking loser. But that stage is difficult because of the amount of, like, necrosis damage that, what the hell's his name? Manfred does to you. I could imagine using AF Yala, spamming her S2 to effectively negate the fact that Manfred does necrosis damage on that stage. And so now I just don't have to worry about that mechanic. Like, this is a skill that you use to just completely delete that entire mechanic from the stage. And so in cases where this is meant to be a downside, you can just delete it. And it's like, that's a little insane. I'm going to give this a 0 because I like the idea, but I think it's really pushed. All right, S3. So it's a reference to her original form. Get it? It's like her S. Rather than attacking 5 enemies, you're healing 5 allies. Attack range becomes global. Each heal is converted. She doesn't even hit 5 enemies. She just, like, spirits a bunch of damage. Does it specifically hit 5 enemies? I don't know. That's kind of how Wandering Medics work, though. No, it isn't. Wandering Medics don't delete the mechanic from the stage. Because with Wandering Medics, I do struggle against Manfred, and Manfred will still get procs off. Like, they don't delete the mechanic. Against, like, yeah, smaller targets, sure. Yeah. But yeah, attack range becomes global. God damn it. And each heal is converted to a 5 heal sequence that prioritizes different targets, each with 60% healing effectiveness and injury recovery. So this is 300% of her healing. And then the effective second talent increases to... What the... Increases the max HP by all allies in range by 40% and reduces the elemental injury they take by 48%. Wait, was it 5 times? 5 times. So it reduces elemental injury by 60% and increases their max HP by 40%. I see. Oh, but her attack range becomes global. So that affects everyone on the battlefield. Ah. So now she just does... Okay, so now... Okay, I see why no one uses her S2. Because her S3 does the same fucking thing. it also just negates elemental damage from the game, because all of your operators take 60% less elemental injury, and it's already healed back. Bye-bye. Okay. Now, I will say, I do think her S2 is stronger for deleting elemental damage, because this is a 100% uptime, where this is not that. There's a significant portion of downtime to this skill. Jesus. What is this bullshit? Is TT bad for deleting all damage by putting your op to sleep? That's not the reason. Did I rate TD on here? No, I didn't. No, I actually am fine with TD putting your operator to sleep, because your operator is asleep. That's a downside. You're negating all damage, but your operator can't attack or block. That's a downside, which is what helps balance things. I instead criticize TT for doing too much normal damage, but that's different. This is stupid and redonkulous. Do I care, though? Is this a poorly designed skill? It's boring. I think this is a really boring skill, but unlike a lot of there's an actual, like, cycle to this. Like, there is 60 seconds of downtime where you don't get this. During the 50 seconds of uptime, yes, every operator on the field is not dying. Am I really going to be like that? So, okay. So she heals basically 300% of her attack. That's what this says. You know, each heal is reduced to 60%. So her attack is increased by 300. Her attack is increased by 200, effectively. She heals triple as much as she normally does. And then she makes it so all your allies have 40% more HP and take 60% less elemental damage, and basically just snaps elemental damage out of the fight. That is slop. Is this bad? Oh, gross, sorry. Is this bad? Is this a poorly designed skill? No. Is it boring and slop? Yes. I'm just going to give this a 0. I can't really find it in myself to call this negative, because again, there is a significant downside to it. There is a long charge. But I don't know if that's because that's an actual, like, bad thing. It's not 5 targets, it's a 5 heal sequence. Yeah, but it is also technically 5. It's better than 5 targets. Because if you have 5 targets that are all at low HP or high elemental, she will heal all of them. If you have 1 target that's at low HP or low elemental, she'll heal that one. So it's better than 5 targets, basically. Because you can focus all of the healing on 1 target if you need to, or focus the healing on multiple targets if you need to. That's kind of how that works. And so it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if like, it's not bad. It doesn't break her subclass, but at the same, and like, there is a significant cycle to it. But I don't know if, like, my standards are just, like, gone because of, like, Hoshiguma. You know what I mean? Like, are my standards just gone that I'm thinking of giving this a 0? Because I don't think I can put it in me to give this a -1, because there is technically nothing wrong with it. It is slop. It is absolute slop. But there's not really that much wrong with it. I gave Hoshiguma the Breacher's S3 a -1 for being complete slop, though. Yeah, but Hoshiguma the Breacher's S3 is a lot more disgusting. I'm actually kind of thinking, because I did give Hoshiguma the Breacher a -1 because her S3 is slop. And that is because it's way too strong and it kind of negates a lot of the gameplay. You click a button, everything die. This is the opposite, where you click button, everything live. And it's global. Am I going to give this a -1 for just being uninspired slop that's just really strong? I have to give this a -1. I don't really think I can be too... I don't think I can give too much to this. So I think this is a -1. This gets a 0. This gets a -1. Did I give this a No, I gave this a 0. It is slop, but it's unoffensive slop. So I think -2 for Aya? Which, honestly, that seems fair, because I don't, like, dislike her. She is just an incredibly boring operator. Okay, I would have infinitely more fun using, who the fuck are you? What's your name? Who the fuck's your name? I keep on wanting to call her Ripresa. That's not her name. What the hell's your name? Changing like 90-degree beam lady, whatever the hell her name is. Afresia, yeah. So like I think Afresia is more fun than Eyjafjalla. But she's less offensive than Angelina. Also, I will do this because I will do that. Okay. Tippy. Who the fuck doesn't love Tippy? Let's go. All right. So, okay. I love Tippy. Tippy's amazing because I don't know how many times I've said this story where someone in chat asked me, if you could design a Sky Ranger, what would you do? And I said, I would lean into the fact that they're invulnerable in the air, and I'd give them dodge. I'd give them the ability to dodge attacks, and when they take an attack, they will fly. That is what I said. I actually, like, that's what I said, and then Tippy came out. Like, why is Afresia lower than Ifrit when she's more fun? Because Afresia is very hit or miss with me. Because I'm not saying that Afresia is more fun than Ifrit. I'm saying she's more fun than Eyjafjalla. Eyjafjalla is incredibly boring of an operator. Afresia, I have a lot of issues with. A lot of it is that she has the potential to be fun, but she just does way too much fucking damage that it doesn't matter. And so there is the potential for Afresia to be fun. Ifrit's just a lot more balanced. Where did I even put Ifrit? +1, yeah. Ifrit's just a lot more balanced. And I have a lot more lenience to her design because she was the very first blast caster. Afresia has the potential to be fun. Ifrit is just more fun. And Eyjafjalla is boring. Oh, speaking of Eyjafjalla. I gotta do this right. Somehow your every touch deepens the void in my heart is missing you. It's no fair. I don't wanna have to wake up from this daydream. You're my daydream. It's no fair. I don't wanna have to wake up from this daydream. You're my daydream. Okay, that was very important. What is blessing my ears? Absolute peak. He's not a metalhead. What? I'm not. I'm a metalhead, but I'm allowed to like good music. It just so happens to be that metal is the best music. Okay, so I love Tippy because she is literally exactly what I wanted in in a Sky Ranger. It's really funny. Name 5 metal. You have steel, you have iron, gold, that's a metal. What else do you have? Fuck. What else is a metal? Quartz is not a metal, that's a gem. That's not a gem, that's just a rock. What the fuck am I talking about? God damn it. What's a metal? Fuck. Alright, god damn it. I'm a fake metal fan, god damn it. It's over. Aluminium. Fuck, you're right. God damn it. Yeah, I'm a fake metal fan. It's over. It's fucking over. Alright. So I absolutely love this talent. It is so much fun. And just like Kirara's talent, this leans into a lot of what... It gives her a lot of utility. The talent alone doesn't give her a lot of utility, but I do think it is really, really interesting. Because it also synergizes very well with her being airborne. So what happens is that if you activate her skills, she'll become airborne, and now she can't be attacked. Because she's in the air. So she's going to guarantee that she gains that dodge. So when she comes back to the ground, she has the dodge stack kind of already set up. So if she takes any damage, it's going to be guaranteed to be dodged. But also it just synergizes well with kind of what her kit's leaning into. So her S1 is very simple. It's just a... the classic, yeah, the absolute classic cycle time for a Sky Ranger of this has a 66% uptime. Insane. So it takes off, attack range expands, attack plus 100%. Most people aren't using this. You can, it's fine. It does what it's supposed to do. It's cool. Give this a 0. This isn't what I'm using her for, but if you have, it gives you that extra use. The thing is that most of the time you're probably just going to be using Contrail's S2 because there's a lot more utility to it. But I think this has a significantly higher uptime. Does it? Does this have any different uptime than Contrail? I don't think it does. I don't know. It's a very... It's fine. It does what it's supposed to do, but I think most of the time you're just going to be using Contrail's S2 if you need this specific kind of skill. But it's the option that is there for when you need it, so it's fine. Give it a 0, though. And then we have her S2, which is so fucking cool. So she immediately takes off, attack range expands, attack plus 50%, and attacks 3 times in a row. But that's not the cool part of the skill. The cool part of the skill is that this skill only activates when she takes damage. Why'd you say aluminum wrong? Because I'm not a fucking Britoid. Oh, mate, can you pass me the aluminium? Oh, pip, mate. No, fuck you. Fuck you. Stop putting U's in words. What, do you think it makes you look smart? Jeez. Fucking Britoids. What's wrong? What's wrong with you? What's wrong? Speak real English. Spell words correctly. God damn. God damn. So, what's really cool about this skill is that it only activates when she takes damage. So, then she'll start to take off. So, she'll take this damage, she takes off, so now she can't be hit anymore. And then she just does an absolute shit ton of damage to whatever attacked her. And so I think it's a really, really fun skill because there is a lot of really interesting utility that the skill allows for, where you can use it to just punish ranged attackers. You can just use it as a very similar to Kirara, where you can kind of bait out ranged attacks, have her take off, and then she just kind of does a bunch of damage. Like, Tippy is basically Kirara. Like, that's basically what this is. It is the same kind of deal. And there's a lot of good utility that this skill does provide. And I'll give it a big fat +1 because I think it's a very well designed skill. I don't know if it's worth a +2, but I do think that it is very, very good. So Tippy gets a +2. Right next to Kirara, which is quite... You know what? That's appropriate. They are basically the same operator. They are basically the same operator. I like the skills drawing, like the little bird. Alright, Accord. I love Accord. I think Accord's awesome. Accord's absolutely fucking awesome. And I'm sure if you asked Silvergun, he'd probably give you 17 billion reasons why she's actually the worst operator in the game. But I don't care. I love Accord. So Accord is a Blastcaster, and she is the 4-star Blastcaster. And I think this is the first 4-star I've looked at. Oh, I've looked at Courier, but that was kind of very simple. So when I talk about 4 stars, I'm not going to be talking about them like they are 5 stars. I'm instead going to be analyzing them from the perspective of you are a new player and this is one of the first operators that you've gotten. This is your first introduction to Blastcasters, because that's what 4 stars are meant to be. They're meant to be a lot of new players' introductions to certain subclasses. And so it is the job of 4 stars to teach players how those subclasses are meant to work. And Accord does a great job of that. And a lot of that is with her talent. When there is at least one other operator within range, attack plus 17%. And so what you're supposed to do with her is you are supposed to put operators in her range. And so why does that make a difference? Why does that really matter? Well, because Blastcasters are there's a lot of emphasis on positioning, where you have to try and put them, to maximize their range, you want to put them in parallel to a lane. That's what the goal is trying to do. And so this is meant to encourage that specific kind of placement. It's trying to tell you, don't put her perpendicular to the level, because then you're not using her correctly. That's not how you're supposed to be using Blastcasters. You're supposed to be in order to optimize their range, you want to put them facing the same direction as your other operators. And so this is kind of what that's trying to encourage. It's trying to teach a new player, hey, try and put your blastcasters behind your other operators. Don't put them right next to them. Don't try and have them face down into a lane. Have them face parallel to the lane and put a blocker inside of that range. That's what this is trying to encourage, and I really, really do appreciate it. I think it's a really, really good way of kind of teaching that. I'm going to give this a +1. All right. Okay, so this skill is really funny because it is strictly worse than Aroma's S1. It is really, really funny how Aroma's S1 is literally this skill, except it also gains an additional damage bonus against aerial targets. So it's just strictly better. So it's a crit skill. It does what you're supposed to do. It's one of the rare caster crit skills, and I love crit skills. We all love spinaging. We all love that. It's funny that it is strictly worse than... Because Aroma came out before Accord. So I don't even know why they did that. You could have pumped up Accord's damage modifier a little bit. Like, that would have been fine. Make her do something. I don't know. I'm going to give this a 0 because it's fine. It does what it's supposed to do. It's like... When I want charge up Gamma on my Vanguards, I'm fine with it. That's what I want. That's what I expect that operator to have. I'm not going to complain about it. This is that, but for Accord. So it's just like, I am perfectly fine with this. This is what I expect to have on my operators. This helps. This gives new players a skill. This gives new players access to this kind of skill. And I'm fine with that. Because not everyone's going to have Aroma. And I think that to have a Blastcaster with a crit skill, you know what? Sure, here's an accessible version of a Blastcaster with a crit skill. I'm fine with that. This is for accessibility. I'm cool with that. 0 though, because you could have done anything fucking else. All right, so her S2 though is where things get really, really interesting. This is where she gets pretty fun. So attack plus 60%, and every attack triggers a sonic boom at the location of other operators within attack range, dealing 25% of her attack as AoE arts damage. So effectively how you can see this skill is for every operator in her range, she does 25% more damage. And I think that's really, really, really cool. Because it encourages you to do these weird-ass fucking lineups where you have your blocker and then you have, like, Ethan in front of him. And maybe you deploy Gravel down just to get some extra damage out. There is a lot of really cool shit that you can do with this skill. Is it the most game-breaking? Not really. Like, Aroma's S2 is a lot more of a game changer if you play into it. But I do really, really like this skill, because once again, it leans into this idea of trying to reward the player for putting operators in her range, and so this is exactly how you're doing it. You're saying, hey, you put her behind your blocker, and you point her towards your blocker, and so when those enemies are being blocked by that blocker, here's bonus damage. You know, and if you want to go the extra mile, and you want to do even more damage, then you can do that by putting other operators in their range, and I think this is a really cool way of doing that. I think this is a pretty well-designed skill. Big +1. So I think Accord gets a +2, which I think is probably the best that a 4-star will get. I don't think a 4-star can really go higher than that. We need to... Oh my gosh, we're running out of space on the +2. Alright, Contrail. Contrail, we're talking about both. Oh, wait, so both Contrail and Tippy both get skins in the same event? Wait, so they introduce the 6-star Sky Ranger, and then they give both of the other Sky Rangers a skin. That's kind of funny. Should I get Connie Plot or more Contrail plots? Connie Plot. It's always good to have more options. Hypergriff loves Sky Rangers so much, they introduced an entire subclass that only exists to buff them. Like, alright, Contrail. So once again, we're going to be analyzing her from the perspective of you're a new player and you have no idea what the fuck this is. Gains 12% more defense while on the ground. Gains 12% more attack when in the air. Like, yeah. Yeah, she takes less damage when she's not flying, and she does more damage when she is. Cool. Is this as, like... like, I don't really know what to really say about this, because it's not like Accord's talent where it tries to push you in the right direction. This is like a click talent where It's just there. It's this operator needs a talent, so here's a slight like stat buff. Like that's what that is. I'm gonna give this a 0 because like I don't know. All right, S1. Does Angelina? No, Angelina's S1 is this. Angelina's S1 is literally this, but strictly better. But that doesn't matter. I was thinking like, do we have any other Sky Rangers that do have a passive? No, Angelina does it. So after deployment, immediately takes off. Attack range expands. Attack plus 80%. Gains 2% physical dodge. This skill is so fucking strong. It's really good. And I think it's a really, really good tool to have. You deploy her. She immediately takes off. She's doing her damage. And the 60% physical dodge kind of pushes you in the direction of use her to block aerial targets. Don't just use her to attack the ground. Use her to actually block aerial targets. And I think this is a really cool kind of skill. It being a passive gives you a lot more control over who she's blocking. And damn, does this skill last fucking forever. I'm going to give this a +1. Does a good job of showing new players what they're kind of supposed to be doing. And is a good utility skill for players who already know what they're doing. Angelina gets 60 seconds on a passive. God damn. That's why she's in the -2. And then all of her other Sky Ranger sisters are going to be in the +2. Sky Swoop Shot. Takes off. Attack range expands. Attack plus 9%. Attacks 2 enemies at once. Plus 1 additional flying enemy. Flying enemies ahead. Hey, look at that. We're doing it again. We are trying to encourage the new player to use this against aerial targets. We are saying, hey, new player, here's a Sky Ranger. They're not just supposed to be weird guards that can fly. That's not their goal. Unlike the medics, who are just medics that fly. You're supposed to use them to block targets. You're supposed to use them to block aerial targets. That's a thing they can do. Like, this is literally just trying to scream at you saying, you can block aerial targets. That is what this does. That is the point. It is screaming at you at that. You click button. She take off and you use her to deal with aerial targets. You're not supposed to just use her to hit the ground because you're gaining additional bonus when you're hitting flying targets. And I do think that this +1 additional flying enemy is more in the case of you are probably going to have ground enemies while you also have aerial targets. This just guarantees that she will hit a flying enemy. That's why you're having her take off. And then she also slows them down. And holy fuck, is this effect fucking busted. They aren't supposed to just weird guards. No, you can tell because they take off and they block flying targets and they have extra benefit when hitting flying targets. That's kind of the point. That's like the whole point. Yeah, slowing okay, so what's crazy about Contrail is that, again, not only is she a really great tool to introduce new players as to how to really use this subclass with, here's a skill that you throw her down so she can block an aerial target and she's pretty defensive because of it. And then here's a skill that you use in moderation in order to offensively deal with aerial targets. And that's kind of the idea. And this slow is so fucking insane. Like the slow, because again, she could attack up to 3 aerial targets and then they're all slowed like 100% of the time. And this skill cycle is insane. So it's just like, I'll give this a +1. Because again, the idea is here is a more defensive skill for aerial targets and here's a more offensive skill for aerial targets. Now, that's not to say people don't use this for its damage because it's present. But you can also kind of see what I'm talking about where this is higher attack modifier. This can hit multiple targets, and it also slows aerial targets, where this gives you the physical dodge, making it better for blocking. So this teaches new players how to block aerial targets. This teaches new players how to shoot them in the face. And I think that's fair. So Contrail gets a +2. I think she's a very well-designed 4-star. And it's one of those rare cases where you have a 4-star that is both very, very good at teaching a new player what they're trying to do, while also having unique and good utility for players who are already quite familiar with it. So I do think it's really nice. All right, now, so that's it for the skin operators. Okay, so we'll do Ascalon. I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief. A lot of the takeoff mechanic over my head. I think it's because I've never registered aerial enemies as a threat. Well, what operators are you using? That would maybe determine whether it's your fault or not. If it depends on entirely what operators you are using on whether that is self-imposed or not. Okay. So chat, give me your operators. I do tend to use mostly 5-star. Okay, do you mean mostly 5-star and 4-star, or mostly 5-star and also an Exusi the New Covenant. like what do you mean by that? Okay, so tell me your operators. We'll add them to the queue, and then we'll talk about it. Or actually, I'll talk about Ascalon. You guys just flood the chat with your suggestions. Mostly 5-star and 4-star. Okay, then I wouldn't blame you. Yeah, that's fair. The thing is that I do run into cases where I do want to use Sky Rangers for their intended purpose. But the thing is that they do also have niche utility, not against aerial targets. I think Tippy's a really good example of that, because most of the time I don't use Tippy against aerial targets. I mainly use her for her weird baiting potential. Like, that's kind of why I really like Tippy, is that she's not meant to be anti-air. She's more meant to be a bait operator. But Contrail is more explicitly designed to be anti-air. Okay, chat's flooding. Okay, you I do want to rate. Lavos, I'm not giving you double dips, though. I am decently favorable on you. Who else? Snow Hunter, I made a video on her. Gnosis, I love Gnosis. Okay, was Posey rated? She wasn't. I have rated her on a previous stream, but we can't just give her a score for the list. Grace Bearer, Helliger. Okay, I think that's good for now. Okay. Thorns Altar. Oh, wait, he's there. Where did I put Thorns? Oh, he's +2. Okay, that's fair. Hard to see, it's so small. I mean, if I make it too big, well, then you can't see the screen. It's got, I don't know. I don't really know how to make it work. Now, you could say I could remove the Taraxacum meme, but that's too important. We need to keep that there. I want to see the greatest defender of all time, Karen. Karen is so busted. She's so busted. Like, she's not even that, like, absurdly, amazingly designed as an operator. She is just really stupidly strong for some fucking reason. No clue. Favorite op in the game is Pansira, so I don't really have much to ask for. That's fine. It's fine. You just be here for the ride. I may need to add more space to the +2. Should I just shrink the operators? They're not all linked up. That's going to be a whole thing. Alright, time for Ascalon. So Ascalon is an ambusher. And that's it. Alright. Okay, attacks inflict the following effects on enemies. Movement speed reduced by 18%. And take 10% of her attack starts damage per second for 25 seconds. What a weird way of formatting this. Attacks inflict the following effects on enemies, : Like, why not just say attacks reduce enemy movement speed by 18% and have them take, like, what like, Arknights' like, formatting is so bad. Like, this is such a weird way of wording this information. There's no good templating. The templating is just so fucking awful. Like, what is this? Alright, so each of her attacks reduce movement speed by 18%, and then they gain a DOT. This ain't even close to the worst of it. You're right, it isn't. This is just like, genuinely, it's just absolute garbage templating. It's really bad. Yeah, modules will get rephrased, where a module will just say something completely different. It's so wild. We talked about the mercenary class. I have not talked about the one operator in the mercenary class, correct. Just got home, love having your stream in the background as I make minis. Awesome. Minis as in like Warhammer figurines or something? That's cool. Alright. There's 2. Well, there isn't. What other mercenary is there? Yes, Warhammer. Alright, based. What other... Lavos, explain. Catapult 2. She's not in the game yet. She doesn't count. I forgot she existed. I completely forgot she existed. Alright, no, shut up, everyone. Shut up. Okay. Completely forgot about her. Alright, so... Okay, so... Jeez. Okay. Movement speed reduced by 18%, takes 10% of her attack as arts damage. This can stack up to 3 times, so she can reduce all enemies in her range by 56%? Passively? By doing nothing? I mean, she does have to hit the enemy 3 times. And she is an ambusher, so that takes forever. But damn, is that strong. And then 10% of her attack is arch damage per second for 25 seconds. So Ethan's S1, but passive. And then that can stack up to... So that's 250 damage that can beat 750 damage. So what if Manticore's S1 and Ethan's S1, and we combined them and make it just better? Like, so it's basically Ethan's S1 and Manticore's S1, except better. It does require a bit of, like, you know, she has to hit the enemies. Am I really doing that again? Am I batting too easy? Where it's just like, it's literally just like, yeah, she has to hit the enemies. Like, so does Ethan. So does Manticore. It's like, I don't know. Like, again, it's just like, this isn't creative. This isn't interesting. You're not doing an interesting thing with her kit. You're just trying to make her the best ambusher. And you don't even get the excuse. Like, again, it's not even a case of, like, year 1 6-stars where they were just the best of their subclass. Because they didn't try and just replace previously existing operators and trying to replace their niches. They just exemplified what their subclass does the most. And this is just, hey, you know, Ethan and Manticore, what if I did that? And it, like, I can't really think of that positively. Like, okay, let me do some comparisons here. Okay. Let's look at Manticore. Nah, she and Mizuki are very comparable in their performance. I don't give a shit about performance. I care about design. Okay. 50% for 5 seconds. Okay, so Ascalon has the potential to make this higher. She does have the potential to do this higher, but it is going to passively be slower. The thing is that with Manticore is that when you click this skill, you're not using her S2. There's a genuine trade-off of now she's skillless. But with Ascalon, you get this passively, and you get skills to use alongside with it. It can be over 50%, but it requires her to hit the target 3 times, which isn't always going to be the case. I actually have no idea how easy it is for her to reach max stacks on this thing. It might actually be quite really easy. And looking at her S1 being a crit that attacks twice, I have a feeling that it might be quite easy to actually get that to max stacks. There's side grades to each other. I don't care about that. I care about design. And if the goal of your design is to make an operator just be every other operator and be boring, then I think that's lame. Hitting the target with a normal attack deals 100 arts damage. Deals 10% of her attack as arts damage per second for 25 seconds. So Ascalon won't have 1,000 attack, so she will do again. So she is Ethan's S1 and Manticore's S1, but worse. But if you get 3 stacks, they're actually better. So that's what this is. I have Manticore's S1 and Ethan's S1 as a passive, but at first they're not as good, but if I build up, then they are better. And I don't like that, because you're not being your own operator. You're not really doing anything interesting. You're just doing something that already exists, but compressing it. And what all this really is now you have less reason to use Ethan and Manticore individually because you can use Ascalon. I'm sure there are cases where you really need, like, Ethan's, like, because no one uses Ethan's S1 for its damage. No one does that. Everyone uses Ethan's S1. So this is already better than Ethan's S1 because you're mainly using it for the hit count. And you also have the ability to just potentially be better than No, I don't like this. This is stupid. I'm going to give this a -1. I really don't appreciate how this is Ethan's S1 and Manticore's S1, but just better. This is really stupid. Attack speed plus 10%, gain additional attack speed plus 6% if there is a high ground. If there is a high ground in the 4 adjacent tiles. More amazing templating, Hypergriff. Or Yostar. Like, what is it? Slow is worse than bind since the enemy can still move. I'm comparing this to Manticore's S1. Manticore's S1 is a 50% movement speed reduction with passive. Except this can be over 50%. Because it's around 56% if you have max stacks. So it's just better than Manticore's S1 if you have the max stacks. But you also have the extra upside of it also being Ethan's S1. And you also have skills to use. So it's just like a little ridiculous. 54%. Okay, I can't do math. 18, 36, 54. Yeah, I'm stupid. I can't do math. So yeah, I don't like that. I really don't. You get better movement speed reduction. It's passive too. It's not even like you have to sacrifice a skill for it. This is passive. Attack speed plus 6 if there is high ground in the 4 adjacent tiles. Sure. I'm just give this a 0 because I mean, it's fine. It encourages specific placement. Sure. I don't think this defines her as an operator. It's not like Lazy's S3 where it actually does like reward you quite heavily for doing this and you're really encouraged to use it in those situations. This is just extra upside. Plus you get the 10 attack speed anyways, so it's like 6 extra ain't really making that big of a difference. Alright, so now we have our S1. So the attack of the next attack increases to 210%, attacking twice consecutively. And it stores charges. So what this is, okay, hi Mr. Enemy, I have 2 charges of my S1. I attack you twice. And so now, I have max stacks. So now I am just better than Ethan and Manticore. It's like I'm fine with a crit, but again, it's like Kirara's S1, where it's like I'm not that like it's better than Kirara's S1 because it does synergize with her talent. But again, it's just like I am better than Ethan and Kirara, or not Kirara. I am better than Ascalon has self heal. She is better than Kirara. We'll get to that when we get to that. There are no enemies in the game immune to bind. So it's just like, this is, I am better than Ethan and Manticore. It's just, I'm gonna give this a 0. Alright. Alright, S2. Attack plus 130%. Movement speed of ground enemies in range, minus 60%. Inflict 1 stack of talent, 1 on all nearby enemies when they are defeated. So it's Manticore's S1. So it's Manticore's S1, except holy damage. And oh, this is an over 50% uptime skill? What do you mean this is an over 50% uptime skill? Okay. Manticore's S2. This literally is Manticore's. I am going to kill someone. This is literally Manticore's fucking skill. This is literally Manticore's S2, except instead of stun, it's more slow. And also, the 130% attack increase. And over 50% uptime. But at least with Manticore, her attack interval increases, which I know it's meant to synergize with her talent. That's fine. But there is still a downside for the crowd control aspect of her. And this is just fuck. And again, unlike Manticore, there's no trade-off. You're not trading off her S1 for her S2. This is, you get Manticore's S1 and Manticore's S1 and her S. This is, what if Manticore, you got her S1 with, you get Manticore's S1 passively. Then you gain Manticore's S1 again, and then you gain Manticore's S1. And then you also gain Manticore's S2 with the cycle time and attack increase. Manticore found fucking dead in fucking Flint, Michigan. What is this shit? Poor Manticore. Ascalon has no identity outside of just being every other fucking ambusher. Jesus. Also, absolute banger alert. Jesus. Contrary to the wording, the movement speed reduction affects aerial units. Never let them fall. Oh no. Whoa. So banger alert. Okay, so okay, so first off, this skill is just kind of slop. Like, it is just, I do a bunch of damage over 50% uptime. And then also hits aerial targets, because fuck me. And then also just makes them unable to move, because this is minus 60% on top of the minus, like, 50%. So it's just like, enemies in range are basically bound. I mean, they don't stack additively, it stacks multiplicatively. But it's just like, so it's basically a 80% movement speed reduction on a skill with over 50% uptime. What the fuck is this? And it does damage! This is slop. Not only does this skill just have no identity outside of being Manticore's S1 plus Manticore's S1 plus Manticore's S2, but it just is just absurd. I kind of have to give this a -1. I don't like this skill. This skill sucks. Alright, S3. Come on, Manticore, do something interesting. Alright, attack range expands. Attack plus 50%. Attack interval is significantly shortened. See, I knew. I looked at that 50% attack, and I'm like, there's no way that's just it. Attack interval is significantly shortened, and reduces physical and arts hit rate of ground enemies in attack range by 50%. More likely to be attacked by enemies, recovers 8% of max HP when enemy attacks miss upon a successful dodge. Okay. That's cool. I like that. I think that's a cool ability. I like that she becomes a ranged tank a la Kirara. You know, I like how she doesn't replace Kirara, but once again, she lacks an identity outside of being a different fucking operator. What ambusher is she not? What ambusher is Ascalon not? Stealing Crown Slayer is effective. I mean, she was before Crown Slayer, but yeah, it's like, I like the idea. I like the idea. But goddamn. Yeah, but the Ave Mujica ambusher just doesn't have an identity. She is nothing. I don't know what the fuck she does. She slows and binds. Like, she herself isn't even unique. Yeah, the one operator she doesn't steal the identity from is an operator without a fucking identity of herself. Oh yeah, I think she also does fear. So you know what? The Ave Mujica ambusher that came out after Ascalon is the only ambusher that she hasn't stolen the identity from. So this does okay, it reduces her attack interval by 1.5 seconds. So she goes from I think 2.9, 3.5 to 2. Okay. So that means that her S1 can stack better. So again, I like the idea that she becomes more likely to be attacked. And that when she takes attacks, she heals herself. I think that's kind of cool. I like that effect. I think that's interesting. You know, it's very similar to Kirara. But again, that's also the problem, is that she's just... It's very similar to Kirara. So it's just like, I don't really know what to say. It's like, hey, here's Kirara on an again, some people were saying earlier that like Kirara still does this passively, so she doesn't even replace Kirara, and that is actually true. Is that Kirara's utility isn't replaced by Ascalon, But Escalon refuses to have an identity that isn't just being Kirara or being Manticore or being Ethan S1. Like, she replaces Manticore and Ethan on her. Actually, like, the thing is, though, is that her S2 reduces movement speed by so much, it basically replaces Ethan's S2. Like, does anyone really gonna tell me that her S2 isn't going to basically do the same thing as Ethan's bind? Like, it just removes their movement speed from the game. Like, it's almost bind. It's not as good as bind. You know, you can't use Indigo with it, but it's... like, Ascalon exists to replace every other ambusher, but she can't do Kirara. Kirara is still... She does it passively, and so because of that alone... Kirara slightly edges out being replaced by Ascalon, and I think that's hilarious. But Ascalon... what am I going to give this? I'm going to give this a 0 because I love the idea. I hate that it isn't a unique idea. I love that she's trying to be a fixed version of Kirara. But I also hate that she's trying to fix Kirara. Because she doesn't fucking need to be fixed. And she didn't even successfully do that. But again, the skill also does have utility that Kirara doesn't have. In that she becomes more likely to be attacked. So it's like... crazy. I'm just gonna give this a 0. Yep. When enemies within range are defeated, Ascalon recovers 10% HP. So if you get her Gamma Module, she then just becomes a better Kirara. So. Not necessarily. Because a lot of the time, things aren't dying in Kirara's range, and she still just heals. So, you know what? Even then, maybe. But yeah, this is Slop. I'm sorry, Ascalon fans. I don't know what to say. Ascalon literally has no identity. She just stole the identities of 3 other ambushers. Because this makes me really appreciate Mizuki more. Because Mizuki is really fucking weird with his gimmick. His whole gimmick is that he wants less enemies in his range. He wants, he really wants to have these priority targeting. Like, there is a lot of uniqueness to Mizuki, and he really does stand out among the other 3 ambushers. But Ascalon is just the other 3 ambushers, and it's just like, this isn't anything interesting. This is so stupid. Okay, what I give her? -1, 0. 0. -1, 0. So -2? I'm fine with that. Because again, it's not even that Ascalon is like... you know what? I think Ascalon's probably more fun than Ephresia. I'd probably say that. Because the thing is with Ascalon is that she is all 3 of those ambushers. So she is literally the sum of the fun that you get from Ethan, Manticore, and Kirara all in one. And so, mathematically, she should be the most fun ambusher in the game. Wow, Ascalon worse than Entei. Yeah, actually, that's kind of funny. Entelekia, I put low because she's not a fucking Reaper. Ascalon, I put low because she's too much of a Reaper. Or no, I put Ascalon low because she's too much of an ambusher. She's not... She's so much of an ambusher that she is every ambusher. So she can't break her subclass if she just steals from every other operator in the subclass. Maybe it's just kind of peak. This is not best worst tier list. This is character kit design tier list. Correct. That is what this is. That is hilarious. I guess he hates all ambushers now. No. I literally have Kirara at +2. You can't say that. Alright, you time. It's time for you, chat. It's time for you. Alright. Okay, so when blocking enemies, gains. He is the 6-star primal protector. No, yeah, primal protector. That's what they're called. When blocking enemies, gains 30% sanctuary. Blocked enemies receive 40% of his attack as arts damage and 12% as burn per second. Okay, so I want to bring something up. Okay, so I think the best way to compare you is to compare him to probably the most busted 5-star in the game. I don't know if that is a... I'm sure you can make some arguments for, like, other 5-stars. I think Karen might be one of, if not the strongest 5-star. So... This, Karen doing 10% of her attack as nervous impairment every second to enemies blocked by her, or 9% more realistically. This is insanely busted. This is absurdly busted to be given to a 3-block protector. The fact that she can just passively kill whatever's just touching her is insanely strong. And now Yu does that, except it's more... Yeah, I would say she's stronger than La Pluma. I would say that. I would genuinely say that she's stronger than La Pluma. Like, I think that I would say that confidently. So not only does Yu do more of his attack as burn, which is stronger than nervous impairment, not in the sense of tanking, but in the sense of damage. And then also does 40% of his attack as also arts damage. So it's like Yu does more damage, more infliction than Cairn, and also does extra damage and also has sanctuary. So it's like, so here's like one of the best, if not the best 5-stars. And then you just add more to it. The fact, like, Karen's talent made me just really in awe at the fact that this should not be on a fucking 5-star. This is insanely strong. And then with you, it gets even stronger. Nervous impairment is inherently broken. Hypergriff said it might as well make the ops tied to it busted. Happened to Grey Spare. Nervous impairment is an absurdly strong buff, and I will say that does play into what makes Karen really good. But the thing is that the ability that you can just put down a defender and anything bucked by them will eventually cease to exist is so unbelievably strong. And Yu does that better than Karen, and it's really, really strong. On top of also a 30% sanctuary. Now, I don't think I can hate on the Sanctuary too much because Hoderer has that. I think this is cringe because it's just extra free damage reduction. It's not in the case of, like, Hoderer where it helps him with healing. But this is kind of dumb. And then this is even more dumb. The thing is that this talent is insanely strong. Is it negative? I'm not going to give it negative, but I do think that it is absurd in how effective it is. I think I'm just going to give it a 0. More like 25 because it's hard to get his pots. No, that is fair. It is more like 25, yeah. It is insane. It is insane. It's not Elemental Sanctuary. That is Sanctuary. This is just Sanctuary. Which actually doesn't even make sense. Because... Wait, yeah, why isn't it Elemental Sanctuary? Because other primal protectors have Elemental Sanctuary. That's weird. Okay, I'm just gonna give this a 0 because it's fine. I do wish the Sanctuary was Elemental Sanctuary. I have no idea why the fuck it isn't. But another reason why he does arts damage is because when he procs burn, it reduces their res, so he can do more damage passively. But I think that this is absurd how strong this is. Have I rated Viviana yet? I have not, but I can add her to the queue once we run out of our current queue. I'm just going to give this a 0. When there are at least 4 operators on the field, recovers 2% of the max... What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Again, this is... legitimately, all of my problems with you are just his talents. Like, it's just like, why? Why are we giving him this level of self-sustain? Why are we just giving a protector just straight up self-sustain? Like, you have to have 4 operators on the field. I'm sorry, that's not, like, a restriction. Like, what is this? What is this? So, he exists Oh yeah, I guess 1.5 because he's more likely not gonna have pots. That's still ridiculous. Because he's not gonna, like, because he's also healing elemental injury and healing himself. It's just like, jeez. I'm gonna give that as, I don't know if I want to give that a negative. Because I do think that you shouldn't just give him passive self-sustain for fucking existing. Because I don't think elemental... I'm fine with the elemental injury. That's okay. The HP is stupid. Again, it's like... He shouldn't be a good protector. He shouldn't do that. He should just be a primal protector. Like, protect against elemental damage. I'm fine with this. This is stupid. I'm fine with this. This is stupid. I'm going to give this a 0. I'm going to give both of these 0s. It's weird. It's extremely weak, not saying that it isn't a bad talent, though. The thing is that he should have enough defense where most of the time he will just be at full HP passively. Yes, this isn't like Kirara's talent where it, like, really does make a huge difference. But the fact it's just there, and the fact you don't need to put a fucking medic on him all the time, is just like... That's the point of Guardians. The whole point of Guardians is that they're meant to be good at healing your operators, but they're also self-sufficient, defenders. And so you kind of take that away from Guardians and you just kind of give that to anyone. It's just like that, again, you're doing the thing where you're taking away the utility of, you're taking away the niches of other operators and just applying it to whatever new thing comes out because it makes them better. But it additionally ruins the utility that those other operators possessed. You now have slightly less incentive to use a Guardian over you. And I'm just like, ugh. But again, it's also like the Guardian he would be competing with would be Shu, so who gives a fucking shit? Is that even a comparison? It's like, yeah, look at this. This is ruining my neural and my gummy, but no, we're talking about you. We're comparing this to Shu. And Shu and Shu does this passively to like fucking 50 different people. It's insane. Ugh. Alright, so I'm just gonna give that 0, both of those. Again, it's like, me likey, me no likey, me likey. Why isn't this Elemental Sanctuary? Alright, S1. So, passive effect, more likely to be attacked. Fuck yeah. Max HP plus 70%, defense plus 70... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What? Wait. Chat. Wait, chat. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Why doesn't his have unlimited duration? Wait a minute. What? How come? What? He requires more charges and isn't unlimited duration. What? Huh? Wait a minute. What is this? And he's more fucking balanced. Oh, this isn't even a year apart. This is the Sui event to the next summer event. What? How the fuck does this happen? Oh my god. Alright, I feel that's like, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. This requires more charges than isn't unlimited duration. Insane. Passively becomes more likely to be attacked. I fucking like that. And it is a skill that rewards him for taking damage and then also does cool reflex shit. This is fun. This is cool. I like this. Does he need to buff both HP and defense? I think that might be a little unnecessary, but I like this skill. This seems like really fun. I'll give this a +1. I like this. This is cool. And again, being more likely to be attacked may sometimes be a downside, so maybe you don't want to be using this skill for the passive alone, because you have less control over it. So it's like, +1. I like this. Alright, S2. Okay. This skill is complete slop. I'm sorry to all of the people who are just like, oh, but the teleport. I'm sorry. You can't look at block +2, max HP plus 160%, attack plus 290%, normal attack, steal arts damage. Like, I'm sorry. you can't look at that and tell me that this is a really cool skill because the cool teleport, when it's like, this is a skill, you click the button, everything in a radius instantly incinerates. Like, that's what this does. It's like the teleport is less to be a cool thing that you can, like, really abuse, and more of, here's a way to let everything fucking die. And it's like, you can't even be punished with the teleport because he also gains additional block. So there's rarely a situation where you activate his S2, he gets overwhelmed by the amount of enemies he's teleporting to himself, and you might end up leaking something. Instead, it's just like, I kill everything. And with that attack increase, guess what that also affects? It also affects the damage and arts damage that his talent deals. And so it's like, because his normal attacks do arts damage, it takes advantage of the extra res debuff that he's gonna get when he procs burn. So it's just like, it's just, you click the button, everything fucking dies. That's it. The stat buffs are stupid. This is a slop skill. This is slop. I'm amazed this is an S2 and not an S3. This is an incredibly slop skill. I think I might give this a -1, because it's like, this doesn't even it does. No, it doesn't. What am I talking about? It's like, yeah, it plays into his identity as being a primal protector because he does arts damage and it synergizes with burn. It's like, not really. Like, this is just so, ugh. Like, I don't think it's worth a -2. It's not offensive, but it is really crap. This gets a -1. All right, S3. Okay, now here's the fucking cool skill. Okay. So max HP plus 110%, attack plus 110%, defense plus 110%. What? Okay, what happened? Okay, again, we're going to complain about templating. More templating I'm going to complain about. So let's go look at Skady's S3. Look at that. Look how nice that looks. Hey, look. Here's attack, defense, max HP plus 110%. Attack, like, come on. Like, Skady did it better. Skady made it look nicer. Also, yeah. This is Skady's S3, but better. Damn. And grants talent to effect to all operators on the field. So now he's a wandering medic. So now the primal protector is competing with Honeyberry. Because of course he is. I have no idea why this is here. Like, I get it. I get the flavor. Flavor. But I get the flavor of it is that he's making food for everyone, but he's a primal protector? Why is he healing? Why is he healing elemental injury? Why the fuck is he doing that? That seems kind of stupid. Again, we're running into the problem where you're exercising things that are outside of your niche. I don't like that. That's kind of silly. But it is saved. It is saved because he creates a wall of fire spanning the entire field, and then any arts damage dealt by other allies that crosses the wall will deal an additional 10% of his attack as burn. And this is so unbelievably fucking fun and cool and interesting that I'm honestly not even going to I'm not going to take points off. Because what makes this skill really interesting is that unlike Exusii the New Covenant's S2, the buff is actually meaningful. It isn't completely eradicated by the amount of damage he does. Because look, there's no attack range expansion. He doesn't instantly murder everything. And so I like that. I think that's cool. You can have him just existing on his own tile where he's just doing his own thing and then what's that high AF Yala, the normal AF Yala? Hey, yeah, look at that enemy. Do burn damage to it. Or, I don't know, you could use, actually, I got him as a temp recruit in IS. Does his S3 work with blue poison? Does blue poison's, like, arts damage tick every single time as burn? Does that work? I have no idea if that works. You guys would need to tell me that. But what operator was I using? There was, like, a really fast attacking. It works with Wang's. I didn't ask about Wang's mines. I didn't fucking ask. He's the last person I asked about. But yeah, Blaze Altar also, I mean, obviously Blaze Altar, that's kind of the intended design. But yeah, it's like Blaze Altar, because every single hit of her instance is going to be doing burn damage. There is like one fast attacking caster I was using with him, and I had a lot of fun with. I don't remember what it was. This is fun until you put Lapland. That's the thing. You don't have to. You don't have to put Lapland or Golden Glow. You can not do that. Oh, it was Golden Glow. That was what I was using. I got a Temp Recruit Golden Glow. That's what it was. I got a Temp Recruit Golden Glow because she attacks like 5 times per attack, and it's global. That's what it was. It was Golden Glow. I did have a fast attacking caster, and it was Golden Glow. So it kind of didn't count, but the spirit is there. You know, you can use mech casters. You can use fucking Minimalist, because Minimalist attacks 4 times on his S2's crit. There's so much cool bullshit with this. It's like, this is cool. This is a cool skill that lets you do cool things, and they don't have to use it, and he isn't invasive with it. This isn't a skill that feels invasive like other 6-stars that pretend to have support skills. KO Bay won't work because she does physical damage on her S3, because of course she fucking does. Does she attack fast on her S2? Does she? She does, right? Does she? I think so. You can use Chubai. You can. There's so much fun shit you can do with the skill. Yeah, KO Bay's S2. It does attack fast, right? But yeah. Like, there's a lot of cool shit you can do with use S3. I think it's really, really fun. And again, it's not invasive, which is the part that I really, really criticize with a lot of other operators that have way too much stats that overshadow their supportive aspects. Like, again, Exousia the New Covenant's the biggest, like, problem with this, is that because she does so much damage, it almost always just invalidates the problem. It almost always invalidates the supportive aspect. But because he's restrained to his own tile, and he's just doing his own thing, he's chilling, you get to do fun shit, because all of your operators are fucking attacking fire damage. And it gets to be awesome. I don't think I'm gonna rank Exousia the New Covenant until the Exousia the New Covenant video is done. It's still in the scripting stage. But it's like, I think this is cool. I have never used this effect. I don't think it's ever come into play. I don't really, it's like, I don't know. We'll do, okay, we're not doing suggestions right now. When we're done with the queue, we'll do suggestions. There's still like 4 more operators, and then we'll do more suggestions. So it's like, I think this skill is really fucking cool. I think this is a really, really fucking cool place. I think it's pretty hard to get the wall of fire in a good place. That's the thing, is that, yeah, you do have to build around this. There is some strategy you do have to work into it. There is some, like, actual thing that you have to play around. There is strategy to it. And so I do really like Use S3. It is a really, really cool skill. Could you go without this? Yes, you could. You could. Like, you could go without this. This thing is stupid. Why is this here? That doesn't need to be here. It's like a lot of the things that are on the skill are just like, yeah, no, you could remove this, and I don't think I'd give a shit. It's like, this is such a fun skill you can do so much with. And guess what? That's what... And Thumpy does it. Fucking Thumpy does it with her S2. Except because it's physical damage, there's more shit you can abuse with it. That's just why Thumpy's awesome. And she's at fucking +3. I kind of want to give Use S3 a +2. But I also can't ignore the really confusing other additions. But I guess they're kind of not... Like, I don't think anyone's using Use S3 as a replacement for an elemental medic. I don't think anyone's using Use S3 for the fucking removing thing. It's just extra bullshit. Like, this is just extra bullshit that is there, but it doesn't really matter that much. So it's like, I kind of want to give this a +2. It's really, really good. Wouldn't this combo with Fire Whistle? Fuck yeah. I think so. Probably. It probably does. Try it out. That's what's fun about it. Like, chat is like, I'm talking about the skill, and chat's just like, wait a minute, could I use it with this operator? Could I use it with this operator? Like, that's what makes operators fun. When you get to just think to yourself, like, wait a minute, I could do this with them. I could do this. That's cool. Like, and then you get to have that explorative process, and that makes the game fun and fresh, and you get to have cool shit. Rather than, like, Exousia the New Covenant's S3, where you're like, who could I revive where it actually makes a difference? Oh, that's right, fucking no one. So it's like, it's awesome. So this gets a +2. This gets a -1. This gets a +1. And I think these got a mine. Did this get a -1 overall? No, these both got zeros. So 1, -1, 2. So you gets a +2. +2 for you. Wow. God damn it. We're out of space on the +2. All right. Do we need to shrink down our operators or increase the size of it? Okay, I think we just need to increase the size of everything. I'm gonna make it big. Okay. Ah, kind of. Right now. Okay. So now it's even harder to read. Chat, can any of you understand what the just completely unreadable. They're not in a straight line. Man, it is wild that Mr. Nothing, Lazy, and Mizuki. I don't like. If you told me like a time, you're just like you're gonna make like a tier list one day, and the operators at the top are Lazy, Alter, Mr. Nothing, and Mizuki. I'd be like, who the fuck is Lazy Alter? It's fucking unreadable. Is that better? I can't zoom in because it zooms in too much. No, that's out. 50. No, there's no. Okay, there's no in between. Oh, that's so frustrating. There's no in between. It goes from 33%. Oh, that's annoying. All right, whatever. You're just stuck with this. You're stuck with this unreadable shit. This is unreadable. I mean, you guys can kind of see the silhouette. I mean, you guys can understand. Like, you can have a good guess as to who's who, right? No, you can't. That doesn't look like Ifrit. I don't know. Alright. I mean, I guess if you guys want to know, just ask me and I'll zoom in. Or maybe we can zoom in this way. That's better. We'll just hide Hoshiguma the Breacher. Wait, chat, what's funnier? Showing Hoshiguma or not showing Hoshiguma? Which is better? No, we'll put Hoshiguma here. There we go. Alright, so who's up next? Gnosis. Gnosis. We all love Gnosis. Not showing because I don't like her. Valid and based. Like, imagine someone coming into the chat and they're like, man, he really doesn't like those operators. He hates them more than anything. And I'm like, nah, you think. You thought. What's funny about Hoshiguma is that I think she got a -4, so she's not even a -3. Okay, Gnosis. I fucking love Gnosis. He's such a well-designed fucking hexer. It's crazy. You should put the tier list in the description after stream. I don't know. Because, again, it's like the tier list is better for the stream because I can explain what's going on. Also, all hail Savior again. You remember back then, the days when might is right. The days. Okay. So, I really like Gnosis. I think he is a very, very well-designed hexer. And he's kind of exactly what I would want out of a 6-star hexer. So, each of his attacks inflict cold for 1 second, applying a 25% fragile to cold enemies within range, and then frozen enemies receive double the fragile effect. I love this. I think this is such a cool idea, because every other hexer applies fragile to like everything in their range, but only if they meet a certain condition. And so with Gnosis, He instead utilizes this pre-existing mechanic that is flavorful with his kit to apply Fragile that way. And I think that's so cool. So his Fragile is stronger than other Hexers, but it's only limited to single target passively. Like, you basically get that guaranteed 27% Fragile, you know, most of the time. But if it's frozen, they gain double the effect, which encourages you to use other operators that work with cold, because cold naturally synergizes with itself. So it's good. Again, I think cold and levitate are like my favorite status effects because they synergize with themselves really, really good. And so I think this is just such a really smart application of this to encourage you to play with other frozen operators to gain this really, really strong reward of 50% fragile up to 60% with this module, while also just being a good utility operator. Because guess what? By inflicting cold, he's reducing the enemy's attack speed by 30. So he's still being a Hexer. Like, it's so clever. I really, really love this. It's so smart. Such a fucking awesome design for a Hexer. Big +1. I kind of want to give it a +2. I kind of do, because it's so smart. It's so good. There's so much combo potential with the other Kjerag operators, because the Kjerag tribe is like probably the best designed tribe. Also slows. It does not. I used to think it did. It does not. It just reduces attack speed. I actually, because I remember when Frostleaf got her module, I'm like, oh, this slows, it slows, doesn't it? And I looked it up. No, it doesn't. It does not. Yeah, there's a lot of cool synergies with it, and I think it's such a really neat application for a Hexer. It's like, you inflict you inflict this natural debuff that also comes with a Fragile. I don't like Gnosis because supporting Aurora with him is like supporting Art's DPS with Ifrit, just overshadowing IMO. The thing is that I don't think Gnosis does that much damage. Like, I think you might just be underestimating how much damage Aurora is actually doing. Either that or you're just using her against weak enemies. Yeah, I kind of want to give this a +2. It's really, really good. And then talent. I don't care. Okay, what does this S1 do? It does extra damage. It does a lot of damage. Because not only is it doing 170% of his attack twice, but it also is gaining the full effect of the Fragile. So this is basically 340% plus 50 more percent. Or I guess 25% and then 50%. So it's math, but it's a lot of damage. So this skill, I probably use as S1 most of the time because you just always, it's a guaranteed freeze, and that gives you extra damage doing, and it's yada 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 yada. It does what it's supposed to do. It synergizes with his talent really well. It gives you access to that extra Fragile, and it does a lot of fucking damage. I think I'll give it a +1. It synergizes. He works with what he's supposed to do. You're mainly using this skill if you just want a very consistent source of single target freeze. But again, it also suffers from the problem that it's single target, which is something that a lot of the other Hexers don't have. Both Shamir and, hilariously, Praminix, who you're probably using alongside Gnosis, have AoE Fragile, and their debuffs are AoE. What's her name? The fish that is a Hexer against non-elites. What the hell's her name? What's her name? Starts with an L? What the fuck's her name? The fish lady. Fish lady's also Lucilla. Yes, she's also AoE. So it's like Gnosis also just has this natural weakness of being more single target with how some of this. I mean, obviously we'll get into how that's not always the case, but that is how it is. So +1. Yes, Lucilla. Chat is YouTube chat's taking a while. Do I not have the? No, I do have ultra low latency. Bizarre. Okay. So yeah, +1. S2. So his S2 is also, I think, really cool. Cause it's basically just his S1, but manually activated, and it inflicts everything in an AoE. But, so it deals 200 damage, okay, so it does arts damage while enemies within attack range and inflicting cold for 4 seconds. So for the target that he's already hitting, they're already going to be inflicted by cold. And so he's going to have one target frozen and a bunch of other targets inflicted with cold, meaning that they now all have that fragile effect. But if you charge the skill, so you wait an additional extra second, they're now all frozen. So you get even more, you know, fragile out of it. And so this is a skill that rewards good timing. It's a skill that actually gives him good AoE potential. It isn't as good when it isn't as consistent as his S1, and obviously it's manually activated, so it can be a bit of a pain. But I do think that the skill is a very, very good application of what he's trying to do. I'll give this a +1, and I really do like the charge application of just like so it's effectively as though this skill has charges. It has a charged effect that just gives it cold. So it's just like, there you go, you get frozen. All right, S3. This is one of those rare cases where it's just like, I'm using Gnosis and I look at it as S3 and I'm just like, yeah, it's the classic 6-star S3. And then I see that it's a 13-second skill and I'm like, was there really a time where they released 6 stars with 13 seconds, like S3s? Can we go back to that time? That time seems really nice. What happened to that? So attack speed plus 130% and attacks 2 enemies simultaneously. So what this effectively means is that he attacks so fast he's going to inflict freeze. That's what this means. And so he can hit 2 enemies, so now he's inflicting freeze. Oh, gross. On every one of his attacks. And then he extends the duration of freeze until his skill ends, so 13 seconds. He does a bajillion damage to all the frozen enemies and then removes the frozen effect, prioritizing enemies that are not frozen. So you activate the skill, and basically every enemy in his range gradually will just become frozen for the whole duration of the skill, and then the skill ends, and everyone blows the fuck up. And it's a very simple skill. It's a skill that is a really, really good crowd control tool. It is a really good source of freeze. Does what it's supposed to do, and it is rather balanced because it is a 40-second charge for a 13-second skill. So it's not something that's really spammable that his S1 and his S2 provide, but it is a really, really strong effect that can just kind of wipe out a field, you know, when you do time it correctly. So it's like, it works. It does what it's supposed to do. I really do like it. And I keep saying that about them, like they do what they're supposed to do. Yes. I'll give this a +1. Something that I do, okay, so obviously has the IS module, which holy fuck is this absolute peak. When on the field, applies 30% fragile to all cold enemies. Frozen enemies receive double the fragile effect. Look at this. Other Kirac operators inflict 4 seconds of cold on every skill activation. Chat. It's peak. You know what I also love? You know what I love about Gnosis? Is that I use him alongside Frostleaf, and he makes Frostleaf actually really good. Because now, whenever Frostleaf inflicts her cold, it's basically just always going to be a freeze. Because Frostleaf, I'm pretty sure, is the only other operator in the game who can passively inflict cold. And so she synergizes incredibly well with Gnosis, where her, what used to be quite inconsistent cold, is now a really consistent form of freeze, because it works alongside Gnosis. So it's just so cool. Like, Gnosis is awesome because I get to use him alongside Frostleaf. Like, holy fuck. I also do really like that his Gamma module grants a 15% attack boost to all Kirac operators. And I think what really... Oh yeah, Praminix can also do it. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, Praminix can also do that. I don't know what Pram alt is. I think you might be confused. That's not an operator. That's not a thing. I think you just made that up. That's not an operator that exists. Kara doesn't do it passively, but so what I really like about this is that it's all Kirac operators, because what's natural about it is that all of the operators then inflict cold minus Frostleaf are all already Kirac operators. And so the operators that you would already be using to synergize with Gnosis gain this buff. It's not even that it's not like Abyssal Hunters where you just use them because the tribe natural, like just, you're not using them because the tribe is the tribe. You're using them because it just so happens to be that all the Kirac operators work within this mechanic that naturally synergizes with itself. And so you're pretty much already using these operators to begin with. Santala isn't Kirac? Oh, she's Sammy. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that sucks. Well, she also gives her... Actually... Actually, I love that you brought that up because Santala's talent is literally after being deployed, she gains 15% more attack and status resist. I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because this is literally Santala's talent. So, although yes, you are correct, it doesn't even fucking matter. So I think it's cool. And then his other module just gives his freeze extra effect. I like that both of his modules, like I want both of his modules. I have his IS module, but I do want both his chi and his gamma modules. They're really cool. So I think Gnosis gets a 4. So I'm very fine with that. I really, really love Gnosis. He's one of my favorite operators. I think I like him more than these guys. Actually, I think that's fine. Okay. So I love that. I love that. All right, now we have Pozemka. Pozemka. All right. Review Cruise. Well, when we get to suggestions, we can do that. We're still in the queue. All right, Pozemka. So Pozemka is a heavy shooter. Summons a typewriter for 25 seconds. Typewriter has the same skill as this unit, has its own redeployment time. So that's her whole gimmick. Is that she has this summon that is slightly weaker than her, but it mimics her abilities, which I think is kind of interesting. I will give this a 0, not because I don't like the idea, but because it's reliant on her skills for how it kind of functions. Attacks from the typewriter reduce the enemy's defense by 20% for 5 seconds. Typewriter is placed within 4 tiles adjacent to Pozemka. This effect increases 25%. So the idea is that you want to be using the typewriter. You kind of see this with Pozemka's skills, is that you want to try and overlap her range with the typewriter. You want to be using them alongside each other rather than using the typewriter as just a separate unit entirely. And I do think that it is a really cool idea. This is just kind of meant to encourage you to use her with Pozemka. And the defense reduction also just kind of plays into the whole idea that heavy shooters are meant to be good at overcoming defense, even though that role has been severely power creeped by hunters. So I will give this, I think I'll give this a, I'll give this a +1. It encourages you to use it in a specific way. I think I'll give this a +1. I don't, Sure. Okay, so her S1, unlimited duration skill, 20-second unlimited duration. It's wild what we're doing up in here. Now, this skill isn't that absurd because she is the skill isn't that easy to pull off because she is a heavy shooter, so her range isn't that insane. And the buff she gets isn't that absurd. But it's more meant to kind of work with her typewriter, because since it's both her and her typewriter both attacking, they both have a higher chance of getting a crit, because it's basically two things working at the same time. It's basically like she's shooting twice. It's very similar like how Cruce's S1 or S2 works. So I do think, again, it's kind of cool. It works well with what her summon does. Again, it kind of wants you to use them alongside each other. I think it's cool. Is it the most interesting thing ever? I think this might... I kind of think the level 7 is a bit more balanced than the M3. 20 is very low, but I'm not going to hate on it too much. Yeah, I'll give this a +1. Alright, S2. Passive effect when using the skill. Redeployment time of typewriter is reduced to 50%. Immediately attacks 3 times, each attack doing 230%. Hey, do I want to give this a +1? It works with what her skill wants to do. Yeah. When using a skill... So, what's kind of funny about Pozemka is that she's very similar to Ray, which I think is kind of funny. I am aware that it's offensive recovery. I said that. I am aware. She has to attack 20 times. I know. That Pozemka is very similar to Ray, which I think is kind of funny. Because, like, Ray's S2 is also a very similar kind of unlimited duration skill. And so her S2 also kind of does the Ray S2 kind of thing, where it focuses a lot on what her summon tries to do. And it's a crit skill. It fires 3 times, each attack doing power strike gamma worth of damage. And so this gives you a lot more flexibility over the typewriter. And The fact that this is a skill that can store charges means that you can kind of deploy the typewriter, spam the activations of the skill, you know, at specific times. It is quite interesting. Is it like the most insane and interesting thing ever? Kinda. It does give you a lot more utility for how you can utilize the typewriter, which I think's nice. How long does the typewriter last? 25 seconds? Yeah, 25 seconds. So wait, what is the natural? Let me look that up. 40 second redeployment time. Yeah, 40-second redeployment time. What's its lifetime? What's its lifetime? It's 25 seconds. Okay, I don't know what the fuck am I talking about. It's the redeployment time is 40 seconds. Okay. Which I actually am quite positive on that. I'm glad it takes longer to redeploy. It's like, because I remember when I was using like Jessica Alter, and the fact that her summon has an over 50% uptime, I'm like, that's kind of silly. So I am glad this has less than a 50% uptime, because it does give more, it gives a lot more emphasis to how you want to be using Pazemka. You know, it gives a lot more emphasis on when you want to time it, and it also balances her skills out a lot better. And so it gives you more access to a typewriter. Now it has a 50% uptime. And then the skill also works really well with the typewriter because it fires 3 times. So yeah, sure. Give that a +1. Again, it's mainly just you get less redeployment time, which, cool. Attack range expands, attack interval reduced, each attack does 200% damage, increased. Okay. So this, I think, is kind of interesting. This, I think, this alone is really interesting. Because this requires that you kind of overlap Pazemka and her summon's range. Because if you want both her and her summon to do as much damage as possible, you want to reach a point where both of their ranges are overlapping like a cross. And so it requires some really interesting positioning, which I think is really cool. Now, 30-second uptime for this kind of skill. That seems a little silly. This seems like a little silly Billy skill. Very quick charge. A quite long duration for the charge. And it gives you that classic attack range expands, attack interval reduced. Each attack does double damage. I'm glad that's nothing else. Like, it is wild how normally this is on every single, like, 6-star S3 plus 50 other fucking shits. Reduces her attack interval by 0.6 seconds. So she goes from 1.6 to 1? Yeah, she goes from 1.6 to 1. So she becomes a marksman that does double damage. That's not that absurd. That's not that absurd. And again, I think it does encourage a really interesting kind of style of play. So I think I'll give it a +1. So I think Pazemka is a pretty cool operator. Yeah, the range expansion is just 1 tile. And I think that's more so to let you do that overlap thing with her, more to like assist in the overlap with her summon. Yeah, I think overall, no, I think this is a +4. I think Pazemka gets to be another +4. Like, yeah, I think she is is she the most fun? Is she like the most fun sniper? Not really. But I do think that she has a very well-designed kit. All of her skills seem quite useful. I think I may need to use Pazemka to really know if her S1 and her S2 are just better than her S3. Or no, if her S3 is just better than her S1 or S2. Because I could imagine a world where her S3 is just so strong you don't really want to use her S2 or her S1. Which I'm not a huge fan of. But I don't think that would really be the case. You know? 200% damage. For an operator with around 800 attack. Yeah, that's not even that bad. That's not that bad. Plus, a lot of the damage modifiers are on the other operator, on the other skills are just kind of better. Yeah, plus 60% more attack, and then has a chance to do... Yeah, her other skills just have better attack modifiers. Modules, I don't really rate the modules. Unless it, like, truly changes how the operator works. Text typewriter, yeah, these don't really do anything. Can summon a much stronger typewriter, yeah. Redeployment time reduced. Let's fucking go, chat. So I think she is quite interesting. All right, Grace Bearer, a 5-star. All right, So attack plus 13%, which becomes 18% as attack after defeating an enemy. Okay, this I do think is kind of funny. So she gains 5% extra attack when she defeats an enemy under the effect of nervous impairment. And I think that's very intentional, because if this instead said gains 50% attack when attacking an enemy under the effect of nervous impairment, it would never fucking come up, because the enemy is always instantly fucking defeated the moment Grace Bearer touches them. So I'm glad it's like a permanent boost, but it's also very much a nothing burger. Like this is a 4-star talent given to a 5-star, because I don't think we're gonna have a primal guard at 4-star. Or are we ever gonna get a primal guard again? Are we ever gonna get another primal guard ever again? I have no fucking idea. We kind of have to for corrosion, right? Because it synergizes well. It does physical damage. Like, I hope it does. I hope we do. Talala. You guys can keep coping that we'll get Talala as fucking playable. So I think I'll just give this a 0. It's just like, again, it's like Click's talent. It's like, yes, that is a thing. Congrats. Cool. All right, S1. Grace Bearer's S1 is... How many times have this actually procced nervous impairment? I've used it against maybe the seals in the Salt event. There was an enemy I used it against recently. Any enemy with absurdly high HP and no fucking defense, this can actually inflict nervous impairment on. But most of the time, this is just going to be an absurdly strong guard skill. Because, okay, so the thing is with primal guards... The thing is with primal guards is that they are very bizarre, is that they're kind of just sword masters. They're basically just sword masters. But they don't do they don't attack twice. They're like, you have a sword master, you give it a bit more attack, you take away that second hit. That's basically what they are. And so now she hits twice. Each of her attack does 50% more damage. That alone is strong. Like, that's kind of it. If she does actually proc nervous impairment, you feel pretty good. But it's very, very fucking rare if it does happen. But it also is a situation of like, yeah, as you're saying, ET Gamer. It is also a really good skill that incentivizes you to want to buff it. It is a very good skill to buff because it is a attacks hit twice kind of thing. And it also scales with buffs a lot better because it's a damage modifier, not an attack modifier. And so this is a really, really good skill for buffing, and it really, really encourages you to do that because of that nervous impairment buff. But most of the time, it is just kind of a Swordmaster skill that's really, really strong. But I do like the route that they're trying to go for. I also like that because it's a skill that is very negated by high defense, it's not a skill that you can always just apply nervous impairment passively. You know, you do need to pick your matchups quite well. So it's fine. I think I could give it a +1. I suppose I can give it a +1. Because the thing is with Grace Bearer is that she runs into this really interesting situation where despite being a primal class, she is just really good regardless of that element. Like both of her skills are just really good skills, regardless on if they even care about elemental damage. It's kind of crazy. Next attack deals 250% of attack as physical damage 3 times to up to 6 nearby ground targets. Again, very similar to Swordmasters. If a target is under the effect of nervous impairment, it does elemental damage instead. So now it's no longer reduced by defense. So now it turns into basically 750% of her attack as true damage, which is pretty strong. The main sort of weakness of Grace Bearer is not that she herself... It's not that she herself is bad. It's that we don't have a fucking ritualist for nervous impairment. We have Cairn, but the thing is that in order to use her alongside Cairn, you need to really position her in very weird fucking ways, and it's very bizarre. No corrosions, not in global yet. Not in global yet. It's again, I really do like, you know, what this is trying to do. It is also just a really strong skill in general. Like, this is really fucking a lot of damage. Elemental damage is more of a bonus than her core kit. Exactly. That is the idea. Which is also the same thing is that That is also the same case with primal casters, but a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think primal casters are just ritualists, which is incorrect. You know, they get mad when Blaze S3 doesn't do true damage because they hate res. So it's just like, this is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, I do my thing, and I reward you for doing my thing well. Like, here's my thing, I reward you for using me correctly with free true damage. Here's my thing, I reward you if you're using someone else who does this element. Like, it's just the exact same thing of, it's the exact same thing of primal casters. The problem is that we don't have a balanced ritualist. Because the problem is that Tragodia doesn't really give Gracebearer a chance to perform. Because Tragodia just kills everything anyways, and lures them away from her. So it doesn't even really matter. So the problem is that I really want to use her S2 for the nervous impairment thing. It's just we don't have that tool in the game currently. Design-wise, Gracebearer perfectly fits the archetype of what a primal caster is supposed to be. Except she's a guard, so it's fine. She's a primal caster that's a guard. She's a primal guard, +2. That's what she does. That's what she does. And I think she probably does a much better job than the primal casters of just being really good. She does a better job than the primal casters to showcase that she is just really good without the elements. Which I think is additional upside to her. Alright, Helliger. Okay. We're gonna do I'm getting kind of tired. It is... it's fucking 11 o'clock. So you guys can show me... Okay. I'll take the first 3 operators I will add to the queue, and then that'll be it. So give me 3 more operators. Silver Ash. Okay. With wings clipped. It's all just for the thrill of it. The thrill of watching them go down, down. But the taste of my own medicine has got me thinking clearly now. Vivi Lee. Yeah, Ghosty has been waiting for Lee. We'll do that. Okay, that'll be it. If you guys have more recommendations, come to the next stream, and I'll probably do it then. Alright, so Helliger. He is a Musha. I don't know what the fuck this is, but he is a Musha. And Helliger is... He is the 6-star... He is the year 1... Was he... Okay, when did Helliger come out? I don't think he's a year 1 operator. Heart of Surging Flame Part 1. Okay, never mind. He fucking was. Okay, no, he is a year 1 operator. So he has the exact same... I've talked about this on the previous stream. Is that a lot of the year 1 6-stars, they don't really try and be their own unique thing. They just try and be one of the... They just try and be the best exemplification of what their subclass is trying to do. And that is what Helliger is. I do think that is kind of funny that, like, Helliger isn't Japanese, yet his subclass was Mushas. Except he wasn't called the Musha at the time. Docilis Holiday. Was there any other Mushas that was introduced before Docilis Holiday? I just think it's funny that the first Musha isn't Japanese. It's just a Russian guy. Yeah, alright, so how I analyze Helliger is going to be a lot more in favor of we have to imagine that there literally has... We just have to accept that he was the first one. And he was not only the first Musha 6-star, he was the first Musha. So, weirdly enough, I have to analyze him like I'd analyze a fucking 4-star. Which sounds kind of crazy. So, gains up to 100% attack tenacity. Okay, so... Because the thing is that it's like, in order for me, if I wanted to analyze Helliger purely as like a year 1 operator, I would effectively just be rating him on how cool Mushas are. Like, I am not really... I'm literally just discussing how the Musha archetype works. It was called Solo Blade, if I recall correctly. Oh, it's not. It's called Musha. They're classified as a Musha. Can you not read? That says Musha. I do find it funny that... Do they have it in here? Saying at what time it was changed? Yeah, literally in the notes, Musha means warrior in Japanese. What? It's not even here. It's not even fucking here anymore. Solo Blade known as Musha before Hero People Sows. Damn. Yeah, again, it doesn't even make sense. It's just like, because again, Helliger isn't Japanese. So like, and he was a Musha. That like, Musha is like the coolest fucking name for a subclass. I don't think there's a single person who likes that name, who likes the change. Like, he is a Musha to us. That is what he is. Yeah, so in order for me to analyze Helliger, I'm just analyzing the Musha. All I'm doing is analyzing the Musha, like, archetype. Because that's it. It's just like, okay, gains up to 100 attack speed tenacity. Every single Musha has this. It's like, okay, let's compare this to Zhuo Li, the most recent Musha, who I'm pretty sure just has this, but strictly better. Yes, 50% attack speed and SP recovery rate tenacity. It's like, it's such a strong design. Utage doesn't? Yes, she does. Yes, she does. She literally does. They all do. That's the entire point of the subclass. It's, you can't heal me. I heal myself. But I become more dangerous when I'm at low HP, which I think is such a cool fucking idea. It's so really cool. Why is that a talent? It's because of cases like specifically with Zhuo Li, where it can be modified. It's not tied to the trait because it can be modified to adapt for each operator. And so that because it is a talent, it allows for Zhuo Li to be like, oh, I get slightly less attack speed, but I also gain SP regeneration. Same thing with Noir Corn, who gains, extra attack. So it's like, cool. It's cool. Am I going to rate it? No, because every fucking Musha has this. Regenerate 70 HP per second when this unit is not blocking enemy. This, I do think, is actually kind of interesting. I'm sure some of you might be like, oh, this is going to be soy and cringe because it lets you get away with the fact that he can't be healed passively. But the thing is that this is also kind of a downside, that he doesn't have that initial attack speed boost if he does have to initiate a fight at full HP. It's like, I can actually kind of understand that not always being something that you want. Maybe you want to have him at low HP and then you want to activate his like S3 when an enemy shows up. So it's like, it contradicts the first talent a bit. Correct, that's the point. The thing is that it wants him to be blocking enemies. You want to be using him as a duelist of sorts. That's kind of what Mushas excel at. This does give him a bit of breathing room between fights, but it, weirdly enough, acts as a downside, wanting to encourage you to block enemies. It does contradict his talent, but I do think that it is both an upside and a downside. It's not just something that is strictly there to make him easier to use. There is an actual aspect of management that does come into play when he's doing this, and it doesn't just give you a get-out-of-jail-free card like with Entelekia. Entelekia runs into the same problem where she gains this like this HP generation, but like always all the time. Where in this case, it's only when he's not blocking stuff, which I can understand being like, it's kind of out of the spirit of Mushas. I can kind of get it, but I also do think that because it's only when he's not blocking enemies that there is some room where this can sometimes be a downside, sometimes be an upside. I think it's interesting. I think I'll just give this a 0 though. Again, we're really talking year one design. We are really talking year one design. Like, this is a Reaper S1. They put a Reaper S1 on a Musha. It's like, it was before Zhuo Li, wasn't it? Oh, you think so? It's like, this feels refreshing. I know, doesn't it? Where we can just look at a 6-star and be like, this is a Reaper S1. They put a Reaper S1 on a Musha, except that did Reapers even exist back then? Did La Pluma exist back then? I think she did. Did La Pluma come out in that event? They did not. When did La Pluma come out? If you guys know, I'd like to know. But yeah, it's again, I'm gonna be a bit more generous with how this La Pluma is Chen Alter. Damn, why would they do that? Why would they put her in there? Damn. So in order to pull La Pluma, you had to accidentally you had the risk of pulling a Chen Alter. That's so evil. Why would they do that? Ew. That's so rude, Hypergriff. So, okay, I am going to be a lot more generous when analyzing his kit, because we have to keep in mind, this is the first ever fucking Musha. So, what is this supposed to do? Synergizes with his trait. He's a Musha, he's going to attack twice. This is a Reaper S1. But what's interesting about Helliger is that he is the only Musha with this skill. It's not like how every single Reaper has this S1, including fucking Entelekia. Like, Helliger is the only one with this S1. And it works with what he's supposed to do. It does what a Reaper is supposed to do, but it does it in a way that it's a Reaper S1, but on a Musha. So I'm going to give this a +1, because it does what it... I don't know. I'm going to give it a +1, because it's a Reaper S1 on a Musha, and Mushas are single-target Reapers, and it... yeah. And it's okay, because we're talking about a guy from 1920 here. So, Half Moon. Attack plus 80%. Attacks hit twice. Obtains 75% physical dodge. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. This is beautiful. This is fucking beautiful. So, okay, so we went from a Reaper S1 to Guard Me as S1. Except, like, this is literally Guard Me as S1. Except it does physical damage and gives him physical dodge. This it's weird how Helliger, like, predates all of these really classic skill designs. That is wild. That is wild. Attacks change to attack twice, so peak. It is! It fucking is. Again, I really like that... Again, it doesn't put him in a situation... Okay. Crazy take. I'm really happy that this attacks twice and only does an 80% attack increase, rather than what a modern day operator would be, and this would say attack plus 160%. Because what this does is it means that he's still weak to defensive enemies, leaving room for arts fighters to pick up. This gives room, with how this is designed, it gives room for arts fighters to also act as duelists in certain environments. That's why this is really nice. It's not a skill that overcomes defense very easily. I appreciate that. And it is very obviously a duelist skill. This 75% physical dodge, that's insane. That's really, really strong. And so if you are using him properly, like a duelist, he's going to have an absurd survivability boost on top of doubling his healing and also doing a good amount of damage while not invalidating the existence of arts fighters. I fucking love this. +1. I like... You know what? I'm going to give this a +0 because, like, this is a +1 worthy skill. This gets a 0. But yeah, it is funny how... yeah, the 75% physical dodge is for all of the skills. That's kind of funny. Alright. Attack plus 100%. Attack range +2. Can attack 3 targets simultaneously. Okay, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? Okay, so we went from, like, actual peak to... What the fuck is this? What is this? Why is my operator with 1 block attacking 3 targets with extra attack range? What is this? What? Why would you ever use this too? Like, okay, attack plus 100%. Yeah, attack plus 80% and attacks it twice. Who the fuck's using this? So, okay, so what his S3 provides is, here is a skill that turns him into, like, a lord. Like, oh, like, I criticize modern day 6 stars for doing this. I've literally criticized, Bologna's S2 because it does this, where it's, like, this is, like, keep in mind, there were no Reapers. Yes, but also keep in mind he has 1 block, and what the fuck are you doing? It's like, yeah, this is a skill I can only imagine. Again, this shouldn't be a lane holding skill because he's a duelist. He has one block. Why the fuck are you using a one block duelist? Because this runs into the problem. No, I know they're experimenting. They just failed. But this runs into the problem where you use this as a duelist. You use this as a lane holder skill. You're just setting yourself up for failure because when this skill isn't active, he's leaking enemies. And so if you need to rely on this skill for him to perform his role as a lane holder, then you're getting fucked. You shouldn't be using, like, Estesia's S2 as a lane holder skill. It doesn't permanently give her 2 block. And this doesn't permanently give Helliger effectively 3 block. Like, it just doesn't work. That's the problem. It just physically doesn't work. Like, you can use this as a Musha skill and then you click the button to deal with leakers. I don't know. It's a very just kind of warped skill that doesn't really retain what Helliger wants to be doing and doesn't exist on the right subclass. I kind of want to give this a -1, as kind of crazy as that sounds. It is wild how it's like, this is a skill that, like, I love this. This is beautiful. Give me more of this, please. And then it's like, what? This is 2026? We go from beautiful 2020 to 2026 design. Helliger aged 6 years by E2ing him. Like, he aged 6 years when you E2 him. What is this? What the fuck is this shit? Yeah, actually, I genuinely can't defend this shit, bro. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is this? He aged 6 years, he'd be dead. It's over. It's over. So Helliger went from... Helliger's a 0. I'm sorry. That kind of makes me sad. It's like, yeah, like... Helliger's a 0, which puts him on the same tier as Wichita. Wow, I'm so sorry, Helliger. You don't deserve that. Let me rearrange this. Okay. Because the thing is with Helliger is that he is very balanced. He's a very balanced operator. It's just his S3 kind of doesn't exist. His S1's kind of boring, but it works. His S2's really fucking fun. The thing, like, and then I'm putting him alongside operators that are way too fucking strong for their own good. Like Executor, Bologna, and Wishadel, who are, we have cool ideas, but are way too fucking strong. Yeah, he's actually kind of the same as Irene, where it's like, you just don't do anything. Can you do something, please? Why do you have to do nothing? But at least Helliger had the excuse of he wasn't the first. That Helliger has the excuse that he was the first. Where Irene did not have that excuse. Damn, I'm sorry, Helliger. I'm putting him on the same tier as Wishadel. He didn't deserve this. Alright, Neon. Alright, Neon. The 6-star player's Korra. When this unit is in the squad, all defenders gain 20%. Shut the fuck up, Zero. After deployment, immediately gains 3 shields. Alright, that's interesting. That's kind of interesting. That has some interesting utility. I'll give that a +1. Does that define Neon? Probably not. I don't think it does, but that's interesting. That gives her some added utility. I do like that. This is kind of stupid, though. This is dumb. Like, this is dumb. He's dumb. Neon is probably the most balanced Sui sibling. Well, I guess we'll see. Attack plus 70%, attack plus 45%. Normal attacks now do arts damage. Okay, so we had Hoshiguma the Breacher, who was a Juggernaut disguised as an arts protector. Now we have Neon, who is an arts protector disguised as a protector. Did arts protectors exist at this point? Neon was like the very first Sui event, wasn't she? Ancient Forge, yeah. So, did arts protectors even fucking exist? I don't even know. Shalem was IS2, so that was way later. Churney was later. I don't know if when Durnar came out, so I don't even know. It's not AoE 2. Yeah, but that does. Arts protectors aren't exclusively AoE. They just don't happen to be AoE. I'm not saying that like that is a negative. I'm just thinking out loud. This skill is really interesting because this is a red skill, yet it gives her a higher defensive. This is. You think Durnar was release? Was she? Does that mean Courier was also release? Because you both get him in the same way? The first Arts Protector was Asbestos, who was added later. Okay. I'm not trying to say that as like a detriment. I'm just curious. This is astonishingly balanced. It's like, okay, I will say though, Neon does have like suspiciously high attack for a protector. That is something that like Neon just kind of has for some fucking reason. Like Neon passively has over 500 attack, and I think this is. Was this before? Yeah, this was before subclasses existed. So this is one of those situations where Neon wasn't a protector. She was kind of her own thing. That's kind of the thing. So she just was her own deal. And it's so, yeah, you have this weird, suspicious case where it's like, why the fuck does she have this much attack? Like, you look at like Kaora, who has like 300 attack. And yeah, she has this extra fucking range because she predates subclasses. So she wasn't designed to explicitly be like a protector in the same way that we think of protectors. She's just, here's a defender, and she's the Neon defender. And it's like, okay. And so it's like, yeah, that's why her S1 is offensive for some reason. When it's like, why would my protector be offensive? That's not the role of a protector. That's the role of like, not a protector. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, she goes from having 500 attack to like 700 attack. And now she does arts damage. And it's like, yeah. Crazy. Yeah. I would rather use Durnar's S2 than this. But it does what it's supposed to do. She's Hoshi, but arts. Mm-hmm. Yep. This is a skill. How the fuck do I rate this? Because, like, Neon doesn't have an identity as an operator. Her identity is being Neon. But is this introducing anything interesting? No, it's not. It's a horribly aged skill, actually, because it's been completely conceptually crept by an entire subclass. This music's perfect for this, by the way. Like, I want the identity of this skill is I get to be an arts protector, except I have good defense. But I feel most of the time I'm popping this skill for the 70 defense, and that's kind of it. Because if I want a defender, I'm using her. Yeah, I think she is just very poorly aged. Like, I know she existed in a time when, like, arts protectors didn't exist. And I guess if we were analyzing her on the day she released, it's like, oh, this is a novel concept. Of, like, oh, here's a defender that can kind of fight back. Like, okay. Even though that's kind of Hoshiguma's thing. Yeah, I don't know how to really analyze this. I kind of just want to give it a 0, because it just kind of confuses me. It's like, it's balanced. It works. Alright, stops attacking, defense plus 130%, block plus 1. After receiving an enemy attack, deals arts damage to the attacker equal to 9% of her attack and silences them for 5 seconds. Okay, so Bubble, and Kaora. And we combine them. Except she loses out on Kaora's cycle time. And HP regeneration. But she gains a worse reflect. Because Bubble does it scaling based on her defense. But this is arts damage. So it scales better in general. So, I mean, it's... Yeah, okay, this is very weird. Because this is a case of, like... Because we were talking about, like, Ascalon. It's like, Ascalon has no identity. She's just every other fucking operator. She's like every other ambusher that exists. And it's like... Neon is every other every 4-star defender. But she existed before them. That's so wild to me. Just now saw what are those magic cards in the back? They are magic cards. So one of them is this one with nothing. Because that's like my favorite fucking weird ass card. And then these are some of the promos for, I'll show you. These are the promo cards that you get with the Destroy All Humans, They Won't Be Regenerated manga, which I have been reading. The ones that aren't being shown are cards that are currently in decks, or I didn't get because someone stole the promo shock from the thing. So the counter spell is in one of my decks because I'm a fucking blue mage. And then I have two, oh, you can't even see that. Every 4-star defenders in Neon downgrade. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying more that, like, it's a case of her identity just so happens to overlap with 4-star defenders. You know what I mean? It's like, this is just Bubble and Kawora's S2s combined. Literally, both Bubble and Kawara also stop attacking. And so here's Kawora's defense increase and her increased block. And then Bubble's reflect. And so it's like, I don't know what to say. Because I'm pretty sure that did she come out before Kawara? No, there's no way she came out before Kawara. Did she come out before Bubble? When did Bubble come out? But again, the reflect thing isn't, like, but Hoshiguma existed. So the reflect isn't even unique. It's like, if I want 130 extra defense and extra block, I'm using Kawara. If I want reflect, I'm probably using Hoshiguma, the good one. And maybe Bubble. So it's just like, Neon came before Kawara. Okay, so we had no 4-star. We didn't have a 4-star we didn't have a 4-star defender at that time? That is crazy. Korra was like Neural Alter Event or something. She was that late? Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Korra, then Neon. Okay, so someone's saying Korra came first. I'm confused. Okay, you guys don't even know. We can look it up. We'll look it up. Okay, when the fuck did Korra come out? Because, like, she feels like a release operator. Necessary Solutions, Quadrant. Okay, yeah, she released with the game. She's a release operator. The first thing on here is a skin that she got. No, she's a release operator. Okay, when did Bubble come out? Bubble came out Maria Neural. Okay. And that is after Neon. So, but again, Hoshiguma was a release operator. So, so Neon is just Hoshiguma and Kawara. Like, that's kind of what this is. Again, it's like, what do you want me to say? You don't have an identity. You're just doing something that other operators already do. It's like, I don't even think she power creeps Kawara because she's a fucking 6-star. Harder to upgrade, harder to get pots on. She just costs more. Like, and Kawara heals herself. It's like, and if you want the reflect, you got fucking Hoshiguma. I don't know. Again, I don't want to sound like the kind of people, because there's a lot of people where I'm like, I'm talking about an operator and why I think it's really cool. And they'll be like, actually, this other operator just does it better. I ignore those people because those are not arguments. I'm not making the argument of, oh, this operator is bad because other operators power creep it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that what is her identity? What is Neon trying to do? What is she introducing to the game? Why are you pulling for her? And it's like, if you already have Kawara, what like interest does this, like, I guess the silence, but as we all know, silence is the most useful debuff in the fucking game. So again, it's just like, I don't really know what this really adds or why this makes me excited to use Neon. Like, I get it, she's an early operator, but again, early operators did cool things. All right, so now we have our S3. Attack plus 120%. Nearby allied operators gain defense plus 80%. Attack plus... Oh, nearby allied operators gain defense plus 80%, block plus 1, and status resistance. Wow, man, there was a time when this skill had an 85-second charge. Can we go back? Can we go back? And it's like, attack plus 120% means that, okay, she goes from like 500 attack to around maybe like a little over 1,000. So she's doing some damage. You know, and she has some supportive aspects. Look at that. She's doing something. You know, giving other operators block. That's kind of cool. You put like an instructor behind her and now you have a bunch of block. Oh, that's really cool. Does this count herself? Does it? I mean, I assume this also counts herself, right? I don't know why it wouldn't. Otherwise, I don't know why this would be a fucking yellow skill. It does. I mean, yeah, the status resistance is a bit more unique. I mean, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does kind of fit with her talent being like a defender buff skill. So yeah, so it like works. The thing is though, is that it also runs into this weird situation where it's just like, why am I like, you're putting two defenders next to each other? It's like, why am I doing that? It's like, no, I'm not waiting 85 seconds for Walmart Heidi. Damn, that was rude. Thing is that, like, unlike Heidi though, this lasts longer. When this unit is a squall, defenders gain 25% XP. This unit gains 4% more max HP and healing received for each defender operator deployed, stacking up to 3 times. Okay. Alright. So it encourages you to play defenders. That's alright. What? When shield is broken, gain 3 SP. Whoa. Archetto? Archetto design? I actually kind of like this. It's kind of cool. I mean, it works with, like, other... I mean, I do like that the range is like this. So I could imagine you using Neon in one lane and another defender in another lane. And so you activate this, and it's effectively like the defender in the other lane also gets this skill. Which I think that's actually kind of cool. I think that there is some cool utility to this. Where, like, I imagine, like, this is the lane Neon's in. This is the lane that, like... I can't even see it. Can't even really see it. Like, this is the lane Neon's in, this is the lane that, like, Kaora is in. And so you pop this skill, and now Kaora gains, like, extra benefit. I'm like, I could see that. So it kind of, yeah, alright. It gives it some interesting use. I give this a +1. But yeah, the modules do make her a bit more interesting. Like, here's one that kind of leans into her shields a bit more. This is one that, kind of encourages you to play more defenders. I think it's kind of cool. But I think overall, so this gets a +1, 0, 0, 1. So she gets a +2. I don't even know if I really want to give her a +2. It's like she's very, very, very... Like, she is a defender. Like, I don't really feel like I want to put Neon on the same level as you. You know what I mean? It's like, I kind of want to put her in +1. Maybe me giving this, like, her shields a +1 is a mistake. It's like, yeah, I don't feel that really deserves a +1. Maybe, no, yeah, maybe this gets +0.5. It's like, I don't really know. Like, again, it's like, I don't really think that she's as well designed as you is. Now, you has problems, but it's not perfect. But it's like, Neon doesn't feel like she deserves to be that high. As mean as that kind of sounds. She is the defender of all time. 100%. Alright, Silence the Pragmatic. A really fucking cool abjure. Applies 10% Sanctuary to allies within attack range. So, I think... Sounds like you're doing it out of pity. What? No, she deserves at least a point. But I don't think that she... I don't want to put her in 0, but I don't want to put her in 2. Applies 10% Sanctuary to all allies within attack range. I think she's the only abjure that does this passively. I know Haruka does, like, her bubbles, but that's not just, like, straight up passive. Effect increases as allies' HP decreases up to a maximum of 24% Sanctuary. So it's very similar to how other abjurers kind of do it, where she gives this, where the lower their HP, they gain a Sanctuary thing. But it starts out with, like, a passive effect, but it also increases. I mean, it's not that interesting. I do think this is just kind of strictly better than, like, Tsukunogi's Sanctuary. So I don't really know if I really want to give this, like, a score. I think I just want to keep it with 0. Allies with less than 50% HP with this unit's attack range. Heal HP equal to 60% of this unit's attack every second. Allies with less than 50% HP. Heals HP equal to 6% of this unit's attack every second. Effect doubles for Rhine Lab. Don't care. This Because on one hand, this is I get to heal off skill. Oh, wait, that's the whole point. That's what she does. Never mind. I don't know why I thought that she heals on skill. What the fuck am I talking about? No, she does heal on skill. No, what am I talking about? No, I'm doubted myself. Yeah, this is a way for her to heal off skill. But it has a certain threshold. And then he gets healed too. Okay, I'm not giving points for that. Like, I do like that there is a threshold to it. So it's not just, here is a abjurer that heals passively. Which, weirdly enough, should be what Perfumer Altar was supposed to be, but we don't need to get into that right now. So far, Silence Altar is more of a Perfumer Altar than Perfumer Altar. Alright. So it's... Again, yeah, I think I'll just give it a 0. Because it's like, I like the healing aspect. I think that's kind of cool. But I also am not a huge fan of the fact that it's off skill, but it's also restricted to only low HP, so maybe it's fine. Alright, S1. The point of the skill is that you don't have to use her skills. Yes. Yes. However, the point of abjurers is that they heal when you activate their skills. Like, that is how that works. And so when you have access to healing outside of the skill, now you can just heal whenever you want. Like, you're correct, but that's the criticism, is that you don't have to activate the skill to heal. But, again, I'm fine with it because there is a threshold to it. I'm going to give this a 0 because this heals. Yes, correct. Yes, abjurer. She is an abjurer. Yes, thank you. Attack plus 60, gain 60 attack speed while skills active, can play support drone. Okay, now here is where Silence gets really interesting. So now she gains a drone just like original Silence, but the drone applies bonus Sanctuary 3 times as much. So I think that's really cool. So neither drone gain 3 times the effect of Talent 1. So they will gain a 30% Sanctuary up to a potential of 72? Up to potential 72%. Which, yeah, that is a lot. And it does kind of play into original Silence if you have access to this thing doing fucking everything. And so I think it's really cool because I also kind of like how the drone doesn't heal itself. The drone doesn't heal. The drone just applies the talent. And so original Silence still gets to do her thing while Silence the Pragmatic leans into what abjurers want to do, and that's to provide these kinds of defensive buffs. And I think this skill alone really makes Silence really, really fun because now you have this global access to a 30% Sanctuary that can be even fucking higher at lower HP. So it's like, this is just really cool. This is really, really fucking cool. It's such a good application of original Silence's like gimmick and applying that to a new subclass that is both very thematic and mechanically tied to her. I really like it. I want to give this a +1. Loki kind of want to give it a +2, but I don't think it's that insane. Gains 30% attack, and the effect of this unit's talent 1 increased to 1.8 times. So this goes to 18%. I'm not going to do the math for the other one. Once per skill activation, can prevent an operator with attack range from receiving lethal damage, preventing their HP falling below 1 for 10 seconds. Can be used 2 times within the same battle. Okay, so this is the beauty of Silence the Pragmatic being a welfare 6-star, is that she's balanced. Wow! What is this? Gains 30% attack, and then her entire skill... Like, okay, so imagine if Silence the Pragmatic was not a welfare and was like a banner 6-star released in 2026. What this would instead stay is gains 230% more attack interval reduces, can attack 4 different targets, and then the whole like preventing an ally from dying is so like it's so irrelevant because she just heals way too much. Like if Silence the Pragmatic was not a welfare operator and was released today, I already know exactly what this skill would look like. Oh yeah, she doesn't have a range increase too. Her range would become global, so it would just completely trump the entire gimmick of her S2. So like if she Yeah, I think that's kind of funny. This is just the beauty of her being a welfare. Plus, again, it's like 30-second charge, 60-second uptime. That seems a little strong. Oh, but it can only be used 2 times per battle. There's a restriction. What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you telling me that an operator can have a restriction? What the shit? Insane. And it also has, again, it has a really cool effect. It has a really cool effect, making it so an operator can't die. And if they survive that interaction, she gets to heal them back up. That's so cool. Immediately deploys a drone on every operator in the field. That would be what it does. Like, I think this is really cool. It's, again, it is a skill. It's a skill that this is how you should be designing 6-star S3s. The entire reason why you are using this skill is because of the supportive aspect of it. It's because of the gimmick. That is why you're using this skill. It is a skill that is not overshadowed by the amount of healing that it performs. It is not overshadowed by the just amount of shit that it does. It has a gimmick, it leans into that gimmick, and that's all it does. And I fucking love this. This is an amazingly designed skill. Why the fuck can't we have more of this shit? Because again, if this was designed today, this would be a 35-second uptime with a 40-second uptime with a 35-second charge, gains 260% more attack, heal 4 targets, attack range expands, and units talent is increased to 2.5 times, and then this is still there, but it doesn't even fucking matter. Like, and you would also not have this downside. This is a very, very well-designed skill, because it just tries to do what it's supposed to do. Defensive support does it really well, really interesting. Use the skill with AK-S3. That's an amazing fucking way to put it. Exactly, you're thinking outside the box. You're trying to figure out what cool shit you can do with this. Like, this is fucking badass. You can use this with Shalem. You could use silence to make Shalem not kill himself. Doesn't that sound fun, chat? Doesn't that just sound cool? Hey, what's that? Morgan? Hi, Morgan. I'm tired of you killing yourself, so I'm going to click Silence the Pragmatics S3 and making it so you don't kill yourself, and I get full advantage out of your tenacity. Think about the potential that the skill does. Isn't that awesome? You have to know why you're using it. Anti-default skill. Amazing point, Yume. That's an amazing point. Amazing point. I low-key kind of want to give this a +2. Really, really fucking well done. So yeah, +3. How many streams until he does every operator? You can... I don't know. Probably a shit ton. So yeah, sounds pragmatic. Awesome. Fucking love her. S2 is really fucking cool. It leans into what she wants to be doing. Awesome. I understand why her S1 is the way that it is. It's because she is a welfare abjurer, so it's more for the sake of accessibility, if anything. But this is awesome. This is awesome. Awesome. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, final operator today is Lee. Our boy, our favorite fish. How unrecognizable the chart will be at the end. that will be awesome to see. No Silver Ash. We can do Silver Ash next stream. If you're in my stream and you're like, hey, you owe me this, I'll go buy it. It hurts to hate on you. Your taste is too good. Yeah, just show up next stream and just be like, hey, fuck ass, you didn't do my operator. I'll do your operator. You have to say it exactly like that, though, or else I won't remember. Okay, so Lee, I think Lee, I'm not even gonna, like, here's my prediction. I think Lee is going to be, like, a +20. I love Lee. He's one of the few 6-stars I genuinely just really, really want. So I think Lee is already gonna be in +4. So we'll see how this goes, though. He is in Banner 2. He is. And you want to know what sucks? I wasted all my fucking pulls on fucking Ripresa, so I don't have anything to pull for him. So I'm sad. I'm really sad. Alright, when Lee is blocking an enemy, the enemy has -15 attack speed, and Lee has attack speed +15. If there's one enemy within the surrounding 8 tiles, the effect is doubled. Chat. Who wants to tell me why this is awesome? I'm sure some of you already know. One of you already knows. One of you's already going to say the word. 7 letters. 7 letters. And it'll show you exactly why this is fucking beautiful. I got him my first pull. That is awesome. You are so lucky. Correct. Correct, Lingo. This is a duelist talent. Homosexual. That is not 7 letters long. You little toad. You know how to fucking count. Gay. That is also not 7 letters. You, what? Come on. I said 7 letters. You're not even trying. You're not even trying. This is a duelist skill. Lesbian. Okay, that is 7 letters. I'll give you that. Homogamy. Homogamy? I don't even think that is the correct term. That's also 8 letters. That. Damn it. All right. Okay, you guys can't even fucking count. That's still not 7 letters. All right. So this is a duelist skill, and that is kind of part of what... Okay, little toad, that's not funny. Don't say that. That's also not 7 letters. Okay, you got... What? Alright, we're moving on from this. Okay, so when Lee is blocking an enemy, Okay, so this is a duelist talent. This is a duelist talent. And part of Lee's abilities is that he does kind of lean into being a duelist, but he also doesn't, and we'll get into that. So I do really like that this is a talent that tries to encourage you to use him as a duelist, because I don't really... Because there are... Being a duelist is not an innate part of being a merchant. There are, like, half the merchants have skills that really try to not be duelists. But I do like that they are trying to lean into that sort of aspect of him. And I also like the sort of crowd control aspect. I think that's kind of neat. You deploy him, and now you're paying DP for an attack speed debuff. Really cool. Big +1. When DP is consumed by Lee's trait, if there is sufficient DP, it consumes 5 DP instead to block the next instance son of freeze. Alright. Cool. Look at that. Look how nice that is. Hey, it leads into what merchants want to be doing. You get a better operator if you give me more money. Fucking awesome. +1. Plays into his subclass really well and gives him some extra unique utility that no other merchant has. Fucking love it. Alright, attack plus 60%. Gains 40% arts dodge. Unlimited duration. Look at that. What is that? That's fucking Jay's S1. Except it gives him a dodge, which makes him better as a fucking, whatchamacallit, a duelist. Unlimited duration skill. Again, I've already talked about unlimited duration skill. Give me 9 more DP, and you get to have extra attack and a pretty good arts dodge, which means that you can use him better as a fucking duelist. Alright, +1. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it just beautiful how it just all comes together? Arts dodge specifically is strange. I'm not against it. I'm not against it, because I think it gives some extra, weirdly enough, because it gives extra utility to other operators. In this case, Helliger. Are you telling me, Yume, that you want Lee to power creep Helliger? You want that to happen? I don't think you want. I think it gives some extra specialty. I don't think it would take away from his S1 if it were to be physical and arts dodge. I don't think that would be that bad. But I do think that it gives them more specialty that allows for other operators to fill in that gap instead of just him being able to cover all of it. But I also am not against the idea of this also being physical dodge. I don't think it really takes away from the kit. But, I'm not against him not having it. I'm not against him having it. So, you know, whatever. Alright, so, X2. S2. So this thing is so fucking cool. I love Lee, and like, if you haven't figured out yet, I love Lee, and I haven't even talked about the skill that I love him for. This skill's fucking awesome. So, passive effect, attack speed plus 30%. Active effect, marks the target and makes them easier to be targeted by allies. The mark explodes after 5 seconds, doing 300% of attack as arts damage to nearby enemies. Every hit on the marked target increases explosion damage by 20% of his attack, increasing up to 30 times. This skill is so fucking cool. You play this, he puts a fucking C4 on one of the enemies, and if you attack it enough times, it does even more fucking damage. This skill is so much fun to pull off. It is really, really, really fun. Because you want to be using it alongside things that attack really fast. There's a lot, yeah, Crew Salter, Gray. There's a lot of just dumb bullshit you could do with this. It's really, really, really fun. You deploy Lee, you Again, I also like the support aspect of this skill. There's the support aspect of, you know, it makes the enemy more likely to be targeted. So you want to deploy Lee, and then you want him to wait for 7 seconds, activate this skill. You put this bomb on the target. So the DP you're spending is on utility, both in the extra targets, but also it sort of amplifies the damage that your own operators are doing inadvertently. Because the damage your operators are being dealt is just being turned into arts damage that Lee is doing through them. And so just, this skill is so fucking fun. It's so cool. It's a cool build around. I want to give it a +2. Okay, so Lee is already at +4. No, he's at +5. Okay. Is the fish that perfect? Okay, the fish so far is at +5. The explosion can also kill aerials. Okay, so -7. So we can't have that. We can't have a merchant hit aerial targets. -2. -2 can hit aerial targets. It's over. Okay. So S3. Attack range expands. Attack and defense +50%. Besides the current target, all enemies' attack range are pushed away slightly. Every time Lee attacks, increases the likelihood of being targeted by attacks. So this skill is also awesome because it turns him into a ranged tank. Okay, so who's better, Lee or Swire? That's a really good fucking question, and I don't know if I have the... We could probably go pull up Swire, and we can compare. The thing is with Lee is that I remember talking about how Neon has, like, she has no focus, she has no theme, she has no identity. But with Lee, he has 3 unique identities. Okay, he has 2 unique identities that aren't on any other merchant, but he has another identity that is more exemplified through his kit. He's a duelist, he's a fucking weird damage supporter, and he's a ranged tank. All identities that aren't really covered by other... are not really covered by other merchants. Duelist, though, he has been covered very extensively by what's her name? By Swire. And I do think you would probably be better off using Swire as a duelist, but Lee still has that utility. So it's like, he fulfills 3 good niches that all work with what his subclass is trying to do, and they all stick out and they don't replace any other operators in what they're trying to do. It's awesome. He just does it really, really well, being like this. I have 3 different identities, and they all work really well. They're all unique. They're all fun. It's awesome. Attack range expands. Attack and defense will 50%. And then all enemies in attack range are pushed away slightly, and he is more likely to be attacked by enemies and gains a 70% physical and arts dodge. Pushes on 3x3 area. That's just Phantom S3. He doesn't have that identity, you fool. True. So it's like... Neon doesn't feel anything besides a defender. Lee do anything and still merchant. Yeah, it's like Lee is... All 3 of his skills innovate on being... Okay, maybe not his S1, but his S1's more to combo with his talent. Every single part of Lee innovates on being a merchant. Every single one of Neon's skills doesn't innovate at all, because they already exist with other operators. Neon doesn't do anything new. All Lee does is new, and that's what I fucking love about him. This gets a +1. This gets a +2. This gets a +1. +1. +1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't even know if there is another operator that could even come fucking close to Lee. Like, did we give a +5? Like, no, we had to add +4. Lee gets 6. I'm gonna add a number so that we can just remember that Lee got a +6. We're just gonna do that. Lee gets a +6. That's how much of a badass he is. Ak in shambles. Ak's got a good boss. Lee should cost +5 points every second in tier list. Ak got like +7. I think he should. Yeah. Do the rest of LDA. Oh, I'm getting tired. Should we? Okay, chat. Will this be it? We'll do the rest of Lee's detective agency, and then that'll be it. Because I do think this is very fitting. We'll do the rest of Lee's detective agency, and then we're done, okay? This is a weird exception. Also, Lee is the only one I'm missing. I literally built Hung and Waifu only because of Lee's detective agency. Okay, what are his modules? DB's short range. Okay, that just buffs that first attack. Leads back to enemy. Okay, it just makes him better at the thing he is. Okay, so alright, so Ak, I don't even remember what I gave him. I honestly, he probably might be higher than 6. Okay, so do I need to like go through the whole thing? Have you guys watched my Ak video? Like, do I need to go through the whole spiel of why Ak is fucking awesome? Do I need to go through that all again? Like, talent is awesome. It does an amazing job of defining him as an operator. This gets a +1. His talent... Okay, this gets a 0. This gets a +1. This gets a +2. This gets a +2. No. This gets a +1. This gets a +3. That's what I gave him last time, and I 100% stand by that. This gets a +3. Ox S3 is genuinely... Play the vid on stream. No, because I'm not that proud of it. Ox S3, I do think is +3 worthy. Because it is genuinely the most amazing... Like, it's so iconic. Like, it's so amazing. Yeah, this gets +3. This gets a +1. This gets a +1. This gets +1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so he gets a +6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so Ak and Lee... Okay, yeah, I think Ak and Lee being the two best designed operators in the game, I think, is very fitting. Yeah. Okay, maybe we should just add a 6. Add a 6 tier for Ak and Lee. Yeah, no, they get the 2 6s. Look at that. Beautiful. I will swap them though, because I do think that, because the thing is with Ak, I think he's a better designed operator than Lee, because he is a pure innovator. He was the first geek, and he introduced like literally the coolest and most unique subclass to Arknights, where Lee was more of just expanding upon what already existed. Detective agency tier. I guess we like literally yes. Okay, Hung. Okay. Defense plus 8%. Tile behind the scenes an elevated tile. The unit behind the elevated tile sees 85% more healing. 85% more healing is crazy. But what I find like amazing is that, okay, so everyone knows Sanctum Exoperato. Sanctum Exoperato's module makes it so him and other Laterano operators can't have their attack speeds reduced by their maximum. That is purely designed to work with Exusii the New Covenant. But it's very parasitic, because it only really works with Exusii the New Covenant and against enemies that reduce attack speed. Hung was explicitly designed to work with Ak. That's why all of his skills are defensive recovery, and hey, look at this. The unit behind him receives 85% more healing, because it's most likely going to be Ak. So Ak heals himself and he gains extra healing because he's deployed right behind Hung. But the thing is that Hung is much better designed when it comes to that synergy, because it's a lot more natural. It's something that that's a lot more open-ended. It's something that can be utilized with other operators. And plus, since Hung is a guardian with a support skill, by the way, this is something that will just come up naturally, because you want to be putting an attacker behind him so that they can gain benefit from his SP. Both of Hung's skills are defense recovery, holy ox energy. Yes, that is literally why. And so I want to give this a +1, because I think that this is a very good open-ended way of doing that kind of design, of wanting to encourage you to use him alongside Ak, but also letting you use him alongside any other operator. This is the only defensive recovery guardian skill that heals. And sometimes it's stronger than like a Gummy S1. Sometimes it's weaker than a Gummy S1. Yeah, and weirdly enough, the fact that all of his skills are defensive recovery is part of his identity as an operator. I kind of want to give it a +1. I probably won't, though. I'll give it a 0. So I don't think he deserves a +3, but This gets a +1 because, hey, you get a battery, stops attack. Because, again, you have extra utility of this being a battery skill, which is pretty good. Attack and defense plus 80%, so he's not only healing a shit ton, he's also, you know, giving that good buff. And again, this synergizes exceptionally well with Ak, because you use Ox S2 to pump this thing up. And you use like Ox S2 to charge this skill, and then once Ox skill is over, you activate Hung's skill, and Ak gets all of his SP back, because Ak is passively losing HP. And so Hung is going to be healing him, giving him more SP. Look at that. Don't you love how that natural... Isn't it interesting how that natural synergy occurs because they're actually leaning into the downsides and the mechanics of how it works, rather than just explicitly telling you, haha, yes, the operator doesn't have the downside that this skill has, that fucking Sanctum Ex Operato has. Isn't it amazing how Hung and Ak are designed to naturally synergize with each other rather than it being very explicit? I think it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to give Hung a +2 overall. Where is he? You're not -2, you're +2. Okay. And then finally, waifu. When attacking, 20% chance to increase the attack to 160% and slightly knock back the target. Okay, it's a crit. It's a crit on a executor. Conceptually fine. Has it ever come into play? Has a push has a force of -1. Insane. Waifu's talent, I don't think has ever really come into play ever, and it doesn't really define her at all. I mean, to be fair, as much as it's cool synergy, why'd you want to run Ak and Hung closed loop? Why? Because it's fun? That's why. Because it's cool. Because you can do it. That's why. But, like, no, there's not going to be any realistic situations where that's something you desperately want to do. That is something you want to do because that's cool. And you get to just kind of make it so Ak is now constantly S2ing, you know, Hung. Like, that's kind of it. So I'm just going to give this a 0 because it doesn't really define her. It's cool. It's extra upside, but it's not really much. Waifu's S1 is quite interesting, and I think it is probably the main reason why you would want to use her. Reducing an enemy's attack by 40% is a shit ton. Absolute shit ton. Now, I don't think she has that much defense, so it's not like it really helps her overcome defense thresholds that well. But I think this gives waifu a really good use case of not only being capable of functioning as a duelist, being able to be deployed on top of an operator or an enemy, reducing their attack so she has more survivability, as opposed to something like Project Red's dodge. So this does give her more survivability effectively, while also just being... It's a more consistent version of Project Red's S1 effectively. But it also has the additional upside of you don't have to use it for specifically dueling an operator or an enemy. You can use it, just drop it on top of an enemy who's attacking something else and have her just debuff the thing. Just having access to that 40% attack debuff is really, really good. It is just a really good access to have. And so I really like that is the role that she's performing. I think it's quite nice. Give that a +1. 7 Styles Kick. After deployment, melee deals 290% of attackers' physical damage and silence their abilities for 8 seconds. So this is one of the 50 billion fucking... This is one of the 50 billion skills that purely exist to hate on the exploding Originium slugs. Like, there are so many skills like that just purely exist to hate on them. And this is one of them. And it's funny because when you're like when you get past chapter fucking 5, you realize that Hypergriff doesn't use them anymore in stage design. So it doesn't fucking like really matter that much. So like having access to silence, I think is quite nice. Now, this has been power crept with Texas, but that's an unfair comparison because Texas is kind of slop. But I do like what this is. I do like the utility it provides. I think her S1 is a lot more useful, but it's an option for when you have it. So, like, waifu's entire thing is just like, hey, here is 2 good utility debuffs on top of the same operator. So I think I'm fine giving this a +1. It's not as useful as her S1, But I do really like that she is just a debuffing executor. I think that's a really cool niche to kind of have. Increases physical damage to infected. What did I say? What did I say? What did I say, chat? It's specifically... Welcome back, Jay. Yeah, it's more exploding Originium slug hate. Like, how many operators do we fucking have that do this? I know Snow Sant only exists to hate on those slugs. You have Jay, you have Waifu, who else fucking does it? I know there's other fucking operators that do it. It's just so funny how many skills exist purely to just hate on the slugs. Do you think Crown Slayer is a 6-star variation of Waifu? No, I mean, not really, because I do think that the utility that she provides is a bit more unique. But obviously, the concept is the same. They just provide different debuffs. Although you could probably argue that Crown Slayer's S2 is just kind of a better version of Waifu's S1. I would probably, you could argue that if you're purely using it as a support skill, but Waifu's S1 also has the added utility of being capable of picking off certain enemies, you know, and having that duelist capability, which Crown Slayer's S2 doesn't. So there's obviously utility to it. Yeah, Lapland, her entire kit doing that. Well, there was an operator we were just looking at that silences operators for no reason. Who was it? Who was it? There was an operator we were just looking at that inflicts silence for no fucking reason. Who was it? I swear we were just looking at an operator who did that. Oh, Neon. Didn't Neon? No, Neon also fucking did it. She also just inflicts silence for no reason. Alright, so Waifu gets +2. Alright. So all of the Lee's Detective Agency 6 stars get 6, and then all of their 5 stars get +2. I think that's fair. Alright, so here's the list. Here's the list, chat. What do you guys think about the list so far? Is the list looking cool? Do you guys like the list? I like the list. Feels good. Feels good. I want you guys to screenshot this list, and I want you to send it to people with no context. Put a 4 on Hoshi. Oh yeah, because she did get -4. Yeah, she did get -4, so we do have to give that to her. So I want you guys to screenshot this, and then just send it to people. Just send it to people with no context, being like, yo, what do you think? And then don't explain anything. Just join the stream, what's going on? Oh, I'm sorry, the stream's fucking over. We just ended. Alright. So yeah, I want you to screenshot this and send it to people with no context and tell them that this is just actually correct. And if they disagree, then they're fucking stupid. Maybe the tier list is reverse the react? Yeah, but who in their right mind is gonna call Ak like the worst? You know, there's that one person who's like, oh, it's golf scoring, right? It's golf scoring. Where... Yeah, but like, how do you explain to someone that Helliger, Botani, and Wishadel are on the same tier? How do you explain that to someone? Because I know why they're at 0. I know 100% why they're at 0. But I want to know, I want someone to figure that out. Yeah, Irene. Irene's at 0 because she's boring. Helliger's at 0 because he's a little confused. He's a little old. Botani's at 0 because Aerial Sanctuary. And Wishadel's at 0 because God fuck is half of her kit the coolest shit ever and the other half of the kit the dumbest shit ever. It's quite interesting. I am genuinely curious. I want you guys to do this. I want you guys to do this. Genuinely. I want you to send this to people. That's Jacinta. Yeah, you're right. Botani is... This is Botani. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I genuinely want you guys to screenshot this, send it to someone, and I just want to just have their reaction. Don't explain what it is. Just say that this is a tier list, and I want you to try and ask them. I want you to like ask them what you think this is rating or why you think the decisions are made. I want you to ask that, and the next stream I want you guys to tell me your experiences. I'm genuinely curious. Like, you just send this to your friend who has no idea of like who I am, and you're just like, okay, I have to try and like internalize why Wishadel and Jacinta are on the same tier. Bro gave us homework. It'll be so funny though. I really am curious. It's just like, okay, bro put... Why are there 6s? What is going on? Anyone who I can knows you already. Well, if they haven't watched the streams, then maybe they don't know. You don't have to explain that it's mine then. If they haven't watched the streams, then maybe they don't do it. But yeah, thank you for showing up today. Hopefully I will be smart and I'll fucking try and get YouTube shorts out of these. But I'm very lazy and I don't want to have to sit through a 4-hour-long stream to do this. But alright, this was fun. Thank you all for showing up. I'm really glad this was cool. We'll see, when I stream next, because I'm working a lot. So we'll see. Can you get rid of the chat and the other stuff so I can screenshot this? Sure. Let me do that. Okay. Yeah, take your screenshots. Take your screenshots. Take your screenshots. Alright, bye-bye, everyone. Hope you all have a awesome day.